All right, Ben, $5, please. Got $5 coming my. I mean, I'm starting to head already.
Yeah.
Been craving over there. And listen, Ben's usually right. I will say he's right, but I'm just letting you know, Ben, $5. I'll send you my Venmo account, man. You can wire it to me.
Captain D's is not terrible. Captain D's is the deal. It is. Captain D's. I love that place. Dude, we don't have them here. Like when we see them down south, I got to get them.
Did you see that the thumbnail I had at first? Oh, are you serious? You know that's why it's put on there, right?
Let me pull it up. Where can I see it?
Well, no, it's gone now. So
Okay.
I had a thumbnail and I'm just lazy. So I just put it Captain D's was the thumbnail. And then Andrew went and made like a good thumbnail. So you know, I actually put that one on there.
Frank Jr.'s on here again.
Yeah.
What's up? Raj Bass. Yeah, we're early. So like anybody wants to jump on here, they're like, hey, we're not 15 minutes late like usual.
I know. They're all jumping on. Yeah. So, can we talk about today?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So what did I do today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they saw your Instagram, but I mean.
Yeah. I went and shot. Falcon's got a new rod out. It's actually a crappie rod. And went out with Jerry today. He's a crappie guide. I went blank on his last name. He's wonderful, dude. We filmed with him and went out to a little lake here in Oklahoma and just jumped right on him. He helped design that rod for Falcon, and I've got to look up his name. I feel terrible that I forgot. And it's a real easy one too. Jerry Starkey. He's from up in northeastern Oklahoma on Oogalaw, and he does a lot of guiding, catfishing. He's even got a YouTube channel, dude. Like I didn't know that. Like I was filming with him today, and then tonight when I got in, I was like, hey, let me check out Jerry out. He's got quite a few videos, so cool stuff. We had a great day on the water. You know, that new big 15-foot and 13-foot rod thing, you know, that everybody's using, Todd, for the scoping. You know what I mean? Where that way you can just stick out there and dob on top of them. Have you ever done any of that?
Mm-mm.
It's fun. I mean, it's just chasing crappie around, you know.
I mean, I assume with live scope it would be pretty. I don't want to say easy, but I mean, if you got them all spidered out, right?
No, you just got one in your hand, and you're just like it's live scoping.
Okay.
Fish around until you get to him, and then you drop right on him.
Well, yeah, I haven't done that. I'm going crappie fish. I haven't got to, man. This has been the best and worst 3 days. Well, I wouldn't say worst. It hadn't been bad. After this tournament on Sunday, there's very few times I've been like this, but I am like, I'm done. Like I'm wiped out. Like I've already had some guys like call me, and so I'm already going fishing with some guys. And it's like I don't ever get to do that, right? But I'm like, man, I talked to Billy today. You know, I'm trying to go down to the coast with him. I probably need to take my father-in-law crappie fishing again, but I got other guys and I'm like, whoa, I'm already got like trips set up with people, which isn't a bad thing. It's just wow, man. Like I'm so ready. I was so ready for tournaments to be over with. I'm ready to go to my kids' soccer games, and basketball games. I just got a lot, but yeah. I've editing videos, and hey, I want to say this for all the guys in my my private group. I finished episode 6 today. It's the first day of the tournament, so that will come out tomorrow. So it's going good. Deep Blue, and I've started editing. The one from Gunnersville. So,
yeah, I'm interested to see that. So you're going
to. I made the trailer. Which I was really. Did I show you the trailer?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, and I sent that to my private group today. They all liked it. So, just a teaser, and I don't know when it'll probably still. I'm debating on doing the entire series, like completing it, and then before I ever like put out the first video. It's probably the smartest thing to do is complete the entire series, and that way it will be on schedule no matter whatever happens.
Right.
I'm thinking.
Dude, I'm just like you. I mean, I don't know what it was with the end of the year, but it was, it seemed like I was gone for a week and then I'd be home for like 3 days and I'd be gone for a week and home for literally 3 days. And then the one time my family was sick and I didn't come home. And my wife's like almost mad, like, like taking it out on me when I got home. She's like, she's got this list of things to do that's a mile long and she's not happy. And so I definitely got to spend the next month, just like mending fences where I've just been absent from the house. I mean, dude, it's tough. We got 4 kids and trying to run everybody to school and pick everybody up. And when we're on the road, dude, it's hard on them.
Yeah. My house is a wreck. Everything's a wreck. And I've been home for 3 days and I feel bad because I usually will start like a lot of it's my stuff. I got like 5 boxes over there of baits and stuff in the live. I mean, a lot of it's my stuff. Clothes everywhere from traveling. And I'm sure my wife's like, what have you been doing all day? And I'm like, to be honest with you, I've been editing videos for the last 3 days and taking care of all this stuff. I'll get to it. I wasn't going to comment on this because one, I didn't know about it. And then there's been quite a few, there's been some people. I don't know what that means. Is he going? I guess he. Is he?
I think he made a post. I was just reading the comments. I don't know what Milliken posted or did, but I think he must have made a post and he was going to go fish the opens or something.
Is he going to go fish like all the opens?
I don't think so. I bet that's a joke. I bet he doesn't mean that. He's probably just kidding.
Oh,
he might be. I don't know. I mean, dude, the rumors out there, how many people have signed up for all 9 next year? The numbers are astronomical. Astronomical.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yeah. So I did start an OnlyFans group. And no, I'm just playing. So hey, I was wondering about that because
let Andrew in the door. He's here.
Oh, so I did.
It's bad when he's got to text me and Todd's running the show. I'm like, hey, yo,
why did
Andrew in the door?
Why did he freaking wave with his broken? Okay. What I want to know, like, so once again, I'm only bringing this up. I'm not going to bring it up very long, but since you brought up how many people are in the opens, that the what's it called now? Is it called the tackle warehouse circuit? Whatever the tackle warehouse circuit used to be. No, I'm not dogging. I'm just saying, like, it only let 5 guys in, like the top 5 from each division.
Oh yeah.
And I was never going to make a comment about it, but then I get a call. I was in the top 10, but I wasn't in the top 5 in ALY. And I get a call like, hey, do you want to fish it? And I'm like, nah. Or like, I don't know. I knew I wasn't going to, but I was like, nah, I don't know. And then I start seeing guys, like a guy called me. He's like, hey, I got an invitation. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. And then he's like, what do you think I should do? I'm like, well, do whatever you want to do. I probably said more than that. But then I started seeing like all the other – I know where everyone finished in the AOY. And so, like, if you're in the top 25, you got a letter. And all I'm going to say is that means everyone in every division in the top 25 got a letter. That's going to be a tough sell is all I'm going to say. So – I know guys were like thinking about doing it, and I'm like, man, I wonder how many of those guys left to go fish the opens.
A lot.
I don't know. I've heard they've been calling down that list a pretty good ways. I know some guys that have fished and they've had them. So they're calling it the invitationals is the way I hear it worded from everybody.
Oh, yeah, because I guess Tackle Warehouse doesn't sponsor it anymore.
I don't know the answer to that either. I just know that the guys are referring to it as the invitationals. Andrew, tell us a story about your hand.
I had a minor accident with slipping off a fender of a boat and decided that
I thought he was flipping off somebody and he flipped off the wrong guy.
It would be a way better story had that happened. And so I slip off a fender and I don't really think much about it. And just kind of go about my business or whatever. And a couple weeks go by, and I talked to my wife, which is over there riding her Peloton right now. And
hey, she's doing it. She said she was going to do that. She wasn't kidding.
And she was like, she looks at my hand and she's like, what is that? And she points to a spot on top of my hand. And HALLMAN and I both have the almost identical scar on top of our hand.
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to get that looked at. And I didn't think much about it. And I showed the doctor, and he's like, I'm really glad you came in for your hand. You know, it could be bad. He said, but that's skin cancer on top of your hand, by the way. And I'm just like, just lost me at that point. I didn't even know what to say, didn't know what to do. And yeah. And Val was like, yeah, I knew what it was. I felt bad. I didn't really want to tell you. Even the nurse that I was joking with knew. Too bad it wasn't Andrew's pinky toe. Hey, so funny, there is actually a backstory on Ryan Watkins' comment that he just put up right there.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the Red River, actually, and we were having one of those crap mornings. Like, it actually had a pretty good practice. And he and I got to arguing. And every once in a while, we'd get in this, like, real weird mood where we just argue, wouldn't talk to each other, just mad at the world. And I think I was idling, and we're idling out of McDade's, and I was like, man, like, you need to snap out of it, dude. And he's like, man, F you, or, you know, something like that. And I was like, I'm going to take these pliers and stab them on the top of your foot. You keep talking like that. He's like, bet you won't. And I took the pliers and I threw them down at his foot, and they stuck in his pinky toe.
Oh my God.
I mean, literally, they're sticking out of his pinky toe. And then we went and caught like 14 pounds after that, because it was just, it was like, holy shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it was perfect. It was like I threw a throwing knife at his foot. And they're just sticking straight up. It was pretty good. But yeah, so, you know. But yeah, and actually Rick Robinson said I needed an easy step, but quite honestly, it wouldn't have helped me in that situation because it was on the side of the boat. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right. See you later. Watch this. Watch this. Remove.
He'll be texting me again in a minute going, hey.
Yeah. Hey, did y'all just remove me? Yep, we did. So, yeah, that's yeah. So I don't know where I was reading this, something or today. I don't know. It's been this, where is it? The crypto. You know what I'm talking about?
I think he did something. Need to make a video about that or something.
No, like something happened today. I saw like for like 30 seconds. So I don't know if it was true, but it was something about like someone got sued today with some crypto stuff, and like Tom Brady was a part of it. Like I think Shaq.
Oh, yeah, I've seen somebody else comment about Brady and 100 mil.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was about, but I just saw it. Maybe it wasn't. I thought it might have just been whatever, but maybe it is true.
Yeah.
So,
Mr.
I'll let you answer this one. I'll let Bradley's wife answer that one.
Yeah, not no, but hell no.
Oh, hold on. What's this?
He was texting me. Let me back in.
So funny. No, my son
made
came
you wait
out.
a little bit.
No, heck no. No, he had to get some Zyrtec. God, I feel like I missed everything.
Look, here it all goes. I mean, look, all these guys. Hey, look at Ron, academic. They're all on top of the freaking news. So I guess
Academics on top of everything.
Well,
academic knows everything about everything.
Current events.
Yeah, but I mean,
here you go. Hey, Raj Basto, here we go.
What did Raj say?
Ooh, I mean, I knew something was going on.
Dang, that's dirty. HALLMAN, our Sooners,
we got
him
walking. I got to get another comment on there so he doesn't lose it.
But he's right. But I'm still sporting. Look, this is our new Sooner edition Falcons Rod t-shirts. Even got the state of Oklahoma on it.
Let me see.
See the little state of Oklahoma there?
Get up like this. Oh, okay. I like it.
Yeah. But I don't think they're selling very many this year. Don't know why, but not selling very many.
Right.
I said, I'll take it.
I don't own Bitcoin.
I wish I would own some Bitcoin. I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather, I mean, especially in the beginning. No, that whole FTX thing, that is pretty bad. What they did is kind of dirty.
No,
Dude,
so
when
you
the
know,
stock market crashes, that Bitcoin and all that stuff, that's the first thing that's going to be
100%.
gone.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things. You look like a genius when you invest in it, and it skyrockets, and you look like an idiot when you do invest in it, and it crashes out, and you lose all your money. That's just the stock market in general, though.
Here's the three things, and everybody that watches our channel will probably agree most. Land, gold, and guns. Those are the three things that do not lose value. That's it. Land, gun,
I agree with that, actually.
gold.
right.
I invest in baits.
In good bait.
Paper and guns, I'm good with that. I wish I had as many guns as I have rod.
Well, I was about to, just like Kevin, I was about to say, a good bait is a good investment too. A good bait that no one has is a great investment.
So when your power goes off on the grid, what are you going to do? Burn all them hybrid hunters in the living room to keep the house warm this winter?
I can't even go show you the box of stuff I got, man. I just can't do it.
You actually get baits? That's cool. I don't know what that's like.
This box comes from overseas. This box comes from this is a different box.
Hey, HALLMAN, I live literally an hour and 10 minutes from Todd, and this like super, super cool box of baits. Like I was even in Nacogdoches today. All he'd have been like, hey man, like, why don't you come over and pick up a couple of these baits?
Why didn't you?
Because I didn't know you had the box of baits, Todd.
See, I even knew you were in Nacogdoches the other day.
So,
were you in Nacogdoches the other day?
Yeah.
When? I will say this. I was in Todd's garage a month or so ago, and I knew he had a lot of baits, but I didn't know he was like, he's got some baits. He does.
Oh yeah, no. I was there. I had to go. My son went to a play at SFA, and so I went over there. I guess it was
last week.
What date? Yeah, it was last week. Yeah.
So I got a phone call about it, a text message.
Oh God.
Spying on you. I know where you parked. Where'd you park?
Third floor, the student.
The garage.
Yeah.
My buddy Cal was like, "What's Andrew doing over here?" I said, He said, "What's Andrew parking in the parking lot?" I was like, "I have no idea."
Oh yeah, no. We went to a play, and then I went and saw an old professor and all that kind of fun stuff. So,
dude, did y'all see Scott's Instagram post? Was it today with his 2 boats on there?
Yeah.
You see what the world of Instagram is? Like, just straight hate. Like, hate.
What?
Yeah, he's just trying to sell his boat, man. And I mean, it is bad.
What are they hating on?
The comments or something?
Yeah. One guy said, y'all just give it away. People give boats away every day.
Oh, well, yeah.
Money. Give away your boat. And I was like, what the hell?
Because, in the life of professional fishing, everything you get is either free or they pay you hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, all the boats are free and this and that. And I'm thinking.
And I'm not saying his aren't free. I don't know what they are. But, like, the reality is they all tell us that crap, and it's all crap when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have to look at the comments now.
Yeah, Frank, I got it's.
Dude, it was straight hate. I almost chimed in there. Like it was bad. Like I felt.
Tell him, HALLMAN. I got one full wall of pegboards. Tell Frank, I got one big wall of pegboards.
Yeah.
A hole, and it's all filled.
Yeah.
It's all Strike King stuff.
Yeah.
That's just the wall, though.
I can't read many of these comments because one of the very first comments I read was, love to have it, but I ain't got that much money. And the response was, it's sadly become a rich man sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a rich man sport.
I don't know when it just overnight became one. Unfortunately.
I mean, when I say it's always been one, I mean.
Golly, I can remember forever as everybody's like, oh man, look at that brand new boat over there. I mean, it's been like that forever. It's always been about who has the biggest boat, the fastest boat, not that I agree with that. It just, I mean,
just Instagram, it just surprised me that people, it didn't surprise me. I went and looked at one guy's deal and he was like, the biggest problem in the world is the fact that we're not taking care of our planet. And I'm thinking, dude, you need to look in the mirror because you might be one of the biggest problems.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Every time I can't believe the environment's so political. I'm sorry, but every time I go out in the water,
you can't believe that everything political these days.
Well,
it's
I know, but it's like save our planet, and I'm like, man. Every time I go out to the lake and stuff, people would unfollow me if all I did was show sunrises and sunsets and like the pretty land we live in. And I mean, that land that we've been on, it never, like those lakes and all these things. It just gets better and prettier. Like, I know they're taking away some land, but not like they can have the cities. We got the country, and the country looks really good.
I don't know, man. I've gone to a bunch of bodies of water all over the world, and I think it all looks fantastic. Personally, what I get to see every day. The lakes and rivers. I mean, when I went to the Amazon, it was absolutely gorgeous and amazing down there. Yeah. But I mean, I've been to Lake Champlain. I've been to, Okeechobee, and those all look amazing too. So it's just, I think anytime you get in the country and around the water, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
MJ, you're right. Except they think everybody with a live scope's winning every tournament. Like
they are.
Yeah, I guess so. You think?
Yeah. It's all that wins tournaments anymore.
John Cox doesn't win tournaments anymore?
Heck no. It's a has-been.
You got to tell everyone that you're friends with John, because everyone will think you're serious.
Oh, that is true. I better say, John is a very good friend of mine. I love John to death. He's a very good fisherman.
I'll put money on John all day long. I'll put it to you this way:
John versus live scope, all by
John versus live scopers. And
next title.
If John put
John
all his
versus 100 live scopers.
If they made John like just fish one series, and he put all of his effort into that, and said, well, I don't know, he might be one of those guys that can do he can't do everything, but man, I don't know. I'll put my money on John over a year against like 5 random live scope, and he'll crush them. He's crushing guys without side imaging and any of that stuff. Yeah,
no, he's crushing them without any depth finders.
Anything.
Anything.
Anything. Well, so we got into this. So
hold on, this is a good one. Hold on, right here it is.
What?
Ron Swinford. Throw that one up there.
Hold on. Okay, I will. Is it towards the bottom?
It's bright pink and a red R.
Oh, who wins a bank beater tournament?
Hold on. Where is it?
Ron Swinford.
Other than Cox.
Where is it?
Cox. It's between Scalish and Jeremy Conkwright.
Okay, got it.
There you go. Well, let's start with Hackney.
Christie.
There. Do we have to go any further?
Cox. HALLMAN.
I can go down a list of about 50 of them.
Yeah.
Matt Heron. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the
deal
is
Owen, there's one.
Poche's on the list. He doesn't use one.
No.
Are we just naming guys that have won tournaments in the past 2 years beating the bank?
No, guy that could possibly win a derby.
No, that's my point. I'm actually naming guys that have done it.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
they've been doing it while live scope's been around. And
Brandon Lester.
So here's the thing I want to say. When I want to talk about live scope is like I didn't win by any means, but I was in second at Gunnersville, never live scoped one up.
Yeah, you didn't win.
I said I didn't win.
You didn't win, Todd.
Hey, Todd, you did not win.
Yeah.
You did not get
first place. Dude, I must have missed that third day then. I forgot about that.
Did you sleep in? Like, what the hell?
No, y'all know me about sleeping in. So yeah, the HALLMAN, how many fish? So you qualified for the elites through the Centrals.
Yeah.
You won the points in the Centrals against 200 and something guys. How many fish on live scope did you catch to do that?
But we were talking about this, and I really hadn't thought about it. When you and I got talking about it the other day, I fished all 3 tournaments, and every fish I weighed in, I guarantee you, live scope had nothing to do with it. Like
Nothing to do with it.
Torn it off my boat, and it wouldn't matter.
Now here's the funny thing: is here's the funny thing about social media and YouTube or any of this stuff. What we just all said, right? We could have a conversation for 10 minutes, and if someone was listening, and then we got on there and said something a little bit negative about live scope, one guy would get on here, and maybe these guys wouldn't. These guys know us, but a guy would get on there and comment like, well, y'all just aren't any good with live scope, and that's why. And I'm like, well, that's not what we said. Like, they instantly think if you don't like live scope, you can't catch a fish off live scope. I know what Andrew's done. If anyone wants to know what Andrew can do, go watch him at Hartwell in the Open.
Yeah.
Go watch. I know what HALLMAN's done on live scope. I'm pretty quiet about it because I just am. I caught a fish. I'll put it to you this way: I caught a fish in the Open, and I showed my buddy, who's a phenomenal live scoper, the video, and he's like, "Don't put that out. Don't put that all out there. Don't put what you just did out there." I was like, "All right," but I mean, we're just not committing. Andrew did, but I mean, most of us aren't committing every tournament, no matter what, to live scope, because the problem is when you do that. I know a ton of live scopers at Guntersville that, I mean, that's what they do. And they bombed in that event, like bombed. And I was going, hey man, I've learned to like we all look at it going, HALLMAN's not just going to fish shallow no matter what and bomb in an event because he's too scared to go out there deep. We've all learned to we got to go out there and do everything. And so I thought what I was doing was better than live scoping. I just did in there, and it was what it was. But just because we don't do it every single tournament doesn't mean we don't know how. Or just because we talk sometimes not negative.
There's definitely guys that are that are really good with it. The younger generation seems to be really, really special with it. That's what we're kind of seeing. In the which you just led the Toyota Championship. And you didn't use it for any of those fish that you weighed in day one, did you? To lead that? No,
I didn't. No.
And obviously it was one with it, but those guys have definitely got that thing dialed in. But dude, the generational gap, you were the oldest guy in that field.
Yeah, I know.
Of the top 10, not the entire field, but that's very unusual. That you, what are you, 43?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I never thought of myself as being the old guy, and I still don't, to be honest. I mean, I don't.
You're definitely
I don't. Yeah, I know. I was sitting there and I was like, thanks a lot, Jody, for mentioning it to everyone.
He's just going through his midlife crisis.
You know my wife? You didn't hear my wife. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Whatever.
This is what life on the road has been. These women are just screaming at us at this point. Screaming at us.
No doubt. Mine's doing the same thing. She's been screaming at us too.
She's over there hollering. She got to put her 2 cents in anytime she can.
Todd's wife just yelled, Todd's going through his midlife crisis. Being the old guy now.
Yeah.
Val's the old. Hey, I married up. She's 36 now. I'm 35. So, she's the old one.
Mine's older than me by a month, and I never let her forget it.
Mine too. Exactly a month.
Ever. A month older than me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think about anyone in the top 100 getting invites to the MFLF Open? So the invitationals. That's what
Is that what we talked about?
A lot of guys were getting invites. So it sounds to me like they're having a. Did you get an invite, Andrew?
Well, I didn't get it. I got verbally invited. I did not get.
Well, you ain't even fished it.
You really got a verbal invite?
Yeah, I got
you.
A verbal one. Yes.
No offense, you. Not because of your skill, but you.
Me. Yes, and yes, but that is.
Well, I know who that came from, so
it's a different deal.
Sense.
It's a different.
That makes sense because I know she's starting to run things now, which I think is a step in the right direction. But
no, I do too. I mean, quite honestly, and everybody, I do want to talk
Keep
about
watching
MLF for a
Pete.
second.
Keep watching Pete. Sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, I do want to talk about MLF for a second because everybody, they think that we just hate MLF or I hate MLF. No, there was just certain people I didn't like at MLF. I do think that Kathy Fennell is going to do some really good things if they kind of let her run a few things. But
They have let
quite,
listen. They
quite
have let the
honestly,
Toyotas alone,
yeah,
and the Toyotas are thriving.
yeah. I do. I mean, quite honestly, we need MLF to survive. Whether
Yep.
or not they will, we need them as an industry to survive if we want things to keep growing that they are. Because let me tell you one thing: if MLF, let's just say for instance, MLF crashed or even Bass crashed, you're talking about a ton of displaced anglers that would not have a home, would not be able to go fish. It would be
MLF
bad,
would be
bad.
worse.
Oh, it would.
MLF
No,
would be
100%.
worse.
I completely
Because
agree.
it would take away every BFL
Yep.
Toyota guy. I mean, it'd be a bad deal.
Now, granted, I think something would be created like almost overnight to replace it because it's way too much money in it for there not to be something to replace it. But it's just bad news. But I don't talk crap about MLF because I don't want them to survive. I just don't like a couple of people. Just to clarify that for everybody that thinks I just complete hate.
Like we loved the people from it. I mean,
oh yeah.
I felt like I might have been the old guy at the event at Gunnersville, but man, all them FLW guys, like I respect them all. I talked to them all. I've known them. I know their families. I know a lot. Like I've talked to them on the phone. We're all still close. So I mean, they were overly extremely nice to me at that event. Like I felt like old times with them, and I always have. I've never felt any different with those guys.
Yeah.
But those guys aren't always the ones getting to make the final decision.
No.
And it sucks for them. It's not. They sometimes get a bad rap just because they're of the association, but not because of anything they've done. But I told Mark McQuaw and Kathy, I said, man, y'all put on those last two championships I fished. They've been run smooth, phenomenal, perfect. I mean, all the Toyotas have been like they've been great.
So there is a mention of another tour. M. Jones put it up there. It's like a Champions Tour, like the old tour. Todd, you're almost qualified for that at this point at 43 years old.
Dude, what? I thought you were gonna. I'll go do it. I'll go do it. Where is it?
No, he just said. I think I saw Blockett actually do a video on a senior tour, and I just thought that would be really funny if Todd fished it because he's almost there at this point.
Nah, he ain't ever gonna fish no senior tour.
That'd be perfect for you.
No, it would be nice to be around a good old cranky group. I would probably fit in good with them.
No doubt about it. Geriatrically, the GL.
The GL.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey, when I can't hop in my boat, because HALLMAN loves when I hop in my boat. When I can't do that anymore, I'll fish it. That's a long ways coming.
Dude, have you seen him do that before, Andrew?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
He's
all right. Like a spider monkey. I'm like,
well, he's also like what 6'3".
It doesn't
matter. 180 pounds.
I break my back if I
165
try to do
pounds.
that.
I don't want to get on live scope, but I kind of want to.
You'd be group president. Tag.
Yeah.
Let's just get off the live scope.
Dude. Yeah.
I caught him today with crappie with it. I love the damn thing. I think it's great.
Why did I click on that? Thanks a lot, Jesse. I wouldn't even read it good.
Old Tad. Fat Tad to old Tad.
I can answer this. I'm gonna take the Russell Cecil approach. He puts all green and brown and all kind of brush hogs. He's got a bag like this.
He does.
If y'all know who Russell is, he's my old fishing partner. We're gonna fish some more this year. He's won like 14,000 Toyotas and TXTTs and whatever else, and 14,000 boats. But he has a bag this big with 483 brush hogs in him of like 9 different green and browns, and he just reaches in there and picks one out and throws it.
Yeah.
And he'll Hell, I've watched him catch like 27 in a row, and he's like, I'm like, what color? Like, I don't care, but I've heard guys like, what color is that? He's like, I don't know. Whatever I pick out of that bag, they'll eat it.
Every time.
And dude, I'm the same way.
It's
Hey,
kind of
y'all need to chill out with. I'm not even the oldest one in this group, and I'm getting, you know.
You act like the oldest, though. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's probably true. Sorry, Pete. But hey, man, we got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
You can eat dinner. You can eat dinner on. Just get it and go to the other room.
That's funny. Who's next year's Open Anglers fantasy fishing team? Well, not HALLMAN. Obviously, that would be.
Well, wait. Can a HALLMAN not do it with us?
I mean, he can't pick a team, so he wouldn't be able to actually register. I don't think, because isn't that like insider trading, but like not even on the same scale?
I don't know. As bad as I suck at it, I promise y'all, I'd be using some insider trading. I can promise you.
Because we'd be talking about the lake and all that. It'd be
all right. Let's.
I don't know. Who do y'all think? I mean,
I've got someone in mind. I've got some. I got one in mind. Perfect. I got two guys in mind. No, I'm serious.
No, I was reading the comment. Sorry,
Oh.
I was like completely on a.
What about since we're all good? What about James Watson or Luke Duncan?
Yeah, somebody just suggested Luke Duncan. If you'd catch up on the comments.
Sorry.
Sorry, oh man, read the comments.
Yeah.
No, Duncan.
Watson doesn't even know who anybody is.
Yeah, Watson can't do it. No.
He like literally lives in this tunnel. He knows who Gary Thomas and Wayne Diffie are. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't know who anybody is, especially anybody in the last 10 years.
Hey, have you decided on this?
Man, I've been leaning. And there's some stuff there that's, you know.
I already know what it's going to be, and I didn't even talk to HALLMAN. If you don't come out to the Oklahoma fight song, you're just.
Oh, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing anything Boomer Center.
Wow, I'm really disappointed in you, HALLMAN.
It'll be something very Oklahoman.
No doubt. I mean, I figure it's gonna be something Oklahoma, but I just figured Oklahoma fight song just because you're a Sooner till you die.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, Duncan told me if I didn't do something Turnpike, Troubadour, something was very wrong with me. Focus on the points, the classic. What was that?
Yeah. Are you going to focus on the points or go for the classic or?
Well, if you focus on the points, I mean, you're focusing to qualify for the classic.
Yeah, I know. Well, maybe it said a win. Maybe it said a win.
With their 2-year deal, like strategically, there's some room there to kind of swing a little bit the first year because you're not on the cutting block. If there's a door that opens and like shows a potential, a possibility, I'm going to swing year one because I just want to try to win. And I haven't been able to do that over there what we've been doing last year. Do we, Andrew? It's like, holy crap, just hold on underneath 70th place.
Yeah, no doubt. Todd needs bifocals to read comments. Hilarious.
Yeah. No, only if I get real close. If I stand back here, I can see them like.
KCT Fishing just saw Turnpike. Yeah, they were in concert, Oklahoma City last weekend.
Hey, okay, listen. Walleye Channel's been freaking lighting me up about this in a good way.
I don't even see his on there.
I just put it on there.
It's because he's like 3 hours behind.
Golly, Todd.
Well, I'm going through them all.
I mean, you can't read them while you're talking, or you just are one track, like you're right here.
I've put like 10 of them on there. I just put this one on there. Now I'm going to go. I'm letting y'all read it. Now go.
Oh, no, I already saw that one. I saw that one about 5 minutes ago.
Are y'all going to talk about it, or am I going to go on to the next one?
I disagree with that, but that's just me.
I want to know why.
How about a discussion on why you should lose the middle hook? How about you just put 2 big hooks and 1 little hook in the middle, because that middle hook will still catch them. That's what I do. I put 2 number 2s, a 2 on the front, a 2 on the back, and a 4 in the middle.
I'm a 3-hook guy. I mean,
I think three is better.
Got me into the elites as a fish that was in a brush pile on a 3-hooked freaking topwater, and I needed all 3 of them to land the fish. Did you do a video on losing a middle hook, Todd?
No, I was talking about the Zowire treble hooks from Owner, and like that they're just stupid. Like they're stupid crazy. Like it's insane how sticky they are.
I agree.
And I don't know. I mean, he was just talking about that's going on up there, and I don't know. I hadn't really heard anybody talk about it or why. He explained it all in you know, I don't know.
So there was I had a buddy of mine once tell me that I needed to put, if I wanted to reel a crankbait through lily pads, that I should just, it was a small crankbait, like a 1.5, just put a number 2 size hook on the front and don't put anything on the back, and they keep it from snagging. You can reel it through all that stuff. Yeah. And the concept of that is great, because like you can reel it through literally everything, because that tail hook's what always snags.
You know what I say to that?
It's a terrible idea.
Well, it's like, hey, I can figure out a great way to do this, or just throw a frog in there and never get hung up and watch them blast it.
Yeah.
If you live in Texas.
Huh?
If you live in Texas.
Well, if you don't live in Texas, you probably don't got pads, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Pad stems, not pads. Like under the water pads. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like pads.
I'm gonna stick up for Duncan. Duncan is probably one of the least hateful guys I know. That dude the problem with Duncan is he talks too much truth, and sometimes people don't like truth about what's going on, because he's kind of called a lot of things, and he got pretty drugged through the mud. And if you go back and look at a lot of things he said that he got drugged through the mud on, he was pretty much right on all of them. So no one else has to say anything, but man, he's not hateful. He just kind of called some people out that he thought were doing wrong. And you know, he is very.
You know, the crazy thing is like there was actually a comment a few back that said that we like to use the B word and we're always bitching. And you know, the deal is we're opinionated too, and we've shared our opinions over a lot of things over the last handful of years that all have come pretty darn close to true. You know, so like. And there we caught a bunch of hate on a lot of stuff too, on some stuff. And I know for a fact, Todd and I talked about it the other day about the small boat deal that he and I were talking about. And just for the fact that we titled a video a certain way, we caught a bunch of hate when people didn't even watch the video. You know, I mean, it's just people are always gonna.
It's crazy too, because like so I'm opinionated because I've gotten to the point. I talked to Billy today, HALLMAN, for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And some of so we probably talk about, would y'all agree that we talk about a quarter? We air out about a quarter of the % of what we kind of know. And so there's 75% of this other stuff that we know that we kind of keep tucked away.
Well, there's certain things we can't talk about.
We can't talk about, and they're not good. They're not good for the sport. They're not good for a lot of things. And so when you see a lot of the bad and you're trying to make things better, this happens in all aspects of life. Like go talk to teachers. If you went and talk to teachers would say the same thing, right? There'd be teachers that are like frustrated with how things are going and what they would have to do, and they're trying to do something good, right? And then they're being held back. I think it's the same thing with so many different organizations and the people that aren't afraid, because if you speak out, usually bad things come your way because people don't really understand the truth. They don't really know what's really going on behind closed doors, and we sometimes do. And so it looks like we might be whining or something, but guys, if y'all only knew some of that stuff, you would change your opinion real quick. And I think it's tough. And we're just trying to make it better And when we see something that's wrong and it's being done wrong, sometimes we speak out and it's not good.
Yeah.
They don't like it, but it's the truth. And I think we've been I think if you've looked out over what we've said over the last couple of years, we've been pretty honest with everything. And most of the stuff we've said I don't think you can go back and look at anything we've said and be like, oh, they were wrong on that point. I mean, we've been pretty spot on.
Yeah.
I wish
Now,
we could share.
we might give horrible fishing advice, but we've been pretty dead on with what we've talked about within the industry.
I wish we could share our group chat there where we were talking about your invitation.
Huh?
Your group chat, our group, mine and all three of ours group chat, whenever you said you got your invite to MLF Invitational.
Yeah.
That was pretty fantastic. But like I said, we can't share everything.
She just got off the bike and left me all alone.
Yep, she left me all alone. Now I can talk for real. Let's see. He just voices his opinion.
And he will.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to admit when you're wrong. I feel like that, you got to, if you're going to talk a lot of crap and you're going to talk a lot of trash, when you're wrong, you got to admit it. I know I have to eat crow quite often. I had to eat crow about the whole, I'm telling you, I used to make fun of guys wearing the sun gloves. I just always thought it was like the goofiest thing ever.
Oh, not anymore.
Not anymore. I'm like, oh my God, that's just karma biting me in the butt.
A lot of these guys are on my private group, man. They
That's funny. There was one I just saw. If you want horrible fishing advice, just ask me. That's funny.
Go back up there to that suck-up deal. I'll answer it. I've never answered that before publicly.
This one?
Oh, crap.
Yeah. So guys that keep asking this question don't seem to understand what the rules are in bass fishing. What suck-up did was foul hook a fish, which I've done, Todd's done, and Andrew's done sight fishing. We've all done it. What's illegal? It's not illegal to foul hook a sight fish. It's illegal to keep that fish and weigh it. Now, this deal with Sprague is different than, what Luke was talking about with Sprague was the information deal. But before that was the foul hook fish with Sprague. Sprague weighed his fish. He turned to the scale right there in the boat with that format and weighed it. Suck-up doesn't have video of putting it in his box, letting it go, nothing, because he went behind the console to land the fish. So there's no video of him releasing it. He released the fish the same as I've done, Todd's done, and Andrew's done. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bad deal that he's got a video out there of foul hooked fish and not a video of releasing it. But that's why it hasn't been talked about and pushed by a lot of people in the tournament industry and why he wasn't disqualified and all that. Anyway, guys seem to misunderstand the difference in foul hooking a sight fish and weighing in a foul hook sight fish.
Yeah, that thing has gone on for a long time. I don't understand. I mean, it doesn't, editing wise, he didn't, he should have shown that part, and he knows he messed up on that part. He should have shown that he threw it back. Honestly, that fish catch shouldn't even ever been put in a video. If we're being honest.
Like I told you guys, he's got an editor that's a YouTuber here in Oklahoma, and he's never fished a tournament in his life, and he doesn't know anything different, and so he doesn't catch that, and he puts it in there, and it gets released, and there it is.
I don't know if he's friends with Mercer.
I don't think he's friends with Mercer.
I don't think he's friends with Mercer.
No.
You want to talk some fishing real quick?
Which?
HALLMAN, get it, Sunline guy.
What application?
You answer the first one, I'll answer the second one.
Okay. Sniper and shooter, real easy, simple. Shooter is anything that I'm dragging, flipping, pitching, slack set, hook set. I mean, anything I'm dragging, pitching, jigs, any of that. Worm, 10-inch worm, brush pile fishing, shooter. Sniper is for anything that I'm winding, anything that I'm going to cast and wind, crank, chatter, spinner bait, anything. It casts better. It's limper. It's not as abrasion resistant as the shooter, but that's pretty much it.
And the sniper is better on a leader line for spinning rods.
And I have noticed that most of the guys like sniper better for drop shot and leader line.
Yeah, and if y'all don't know, like, I love the fact that that we are all like, y'all be surprised at how much we all come to each other for help. Like us three. Like, this was the same question I asked HALLMAN, because I had my own thought, but I didn't have like a really good. I didn't have something that I was married to, right? I was like, what is your deal, HALLMAN? And he told me with such conviction. I'm like, cool. So for the last, this was probably like 9 months ago, HALLMAN told me that. For the last 9 months, that is how I have rigged up every rod, how I choose, because all I do is use sniper or shooter, but I don't really know. I never really knew. I even didn't know, and I've been using it for years. The braid, it's all plasma. It's plasma for everything. I don't care what anyone says. It's the plasma is it's all I use. It's almost impossible.
One thing I'll say about plasma, and
what is that? Is that braid?
Yeah, that's the pink braid, the
Yeah,
Defier.
spinning rod. This is some bad.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, he said flipping frog. Okay.
Right. I know. I was just wanting you to know, because I don't think we've had this conversation. You need to get some of this.
Yeah. I got some. Okay.
That's legit.
So I will say this on the plasma, because we all talk. I don't use, the only stuff I use on Sunline is the sniper for the most part, but the plasma, isn't that one of those lines that you have to work it in on your reel a little bit? Like as soon as you spool it up, it kind of is a little weird.
Yeah, it's got the wax coating. It's kind of stiff. It does get better with time.
Yeah. It's a line that just, as time goes on, it gets way, way better. See that, and we talk about all this. It's just
the holding its color, and then like I want braid for pretty much one thing. Like I don't like it when it jacks up casting, but dude, I just want it to not break. And you're like, how? Trust me.
Yeah,
I've had braid break.
Yeah, Todd and I broke it.
I broke a lot of.
We want to be able to pound
not plasma. No, I'm talking about I broke every braid out there of it, and it's like, well, it's almost impossible to break braid day one. We're talking about like, guys, I mean, if you're like me, I don't care. I'm not I shouldn't have to change out braid every 3 months. I mean, I should be able to almost go a year with the same braid. Like literally. Like that's I mean, retie, yes, but I'm talking about change out. And dude, I go a year with that stuff, and I don't like freaking spending money and wasting braid. So I mean, that stuff is just really good. I agree with that.
Here's a very interesting comment from Walleye.
I was reading that too.
I'm trying to understand.
I think it's back to the treble hook thing, the 3 hook.
Yeah, but so what he does is on the last hook, on the back hook, he actually shrink tubes and pops it on the back hook. So it's like a trailer hook, basically.
Trailer hook on the treble.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I mean,
I do too. I've actually done that before.
I've done it
in a tournament, and they just kept short striking and kept short striking, and I did that.
Where the heck did?
You want to talk about that, HALLMAN? So I don't know if y'all know, because I might answer it too.
Just trying to decide if it's feasible or if I should just do a few of them.
You got free entry into all of them?
Well, he maybe means a sponsor or somebody's paying, I'm guessing. Unless it might be something like, no, he could be a federation guy that finished in the top 3 of the championship. Those guys had free. So I'll give you an example. This year, Jared Miller from Oklahoma finished in the top 2 or 3 of the National Federation National Championship last year, and he had free entry fees. Now, Jared's already been on the Elite Series previously, so he's been around the block a few times. He's got a lot going on here at home, but he did decide to fish the Opens. Somewhere in the middle of the season, he decided, well, I'm not going to this one, but then I'll come to this one, and then I'll come to this one, and maybe not that one. And he kind of started doing some of that too. So, I mean, if you got free entries, I would do it and, start out and see how it goes. And if it's not going well, you need to work or do something and do that and then come back for another one. I mean, dude, if you win, you're going to the Classic. If you win, it's $50,000.
Well, if he wins and he fishes all the ones in that one little division one, division two, yeah. So I mean, you obviously you want to fish all of them that you can, at least the first one in all three divisions. That way, if you end up winning one, you can make it, but and that way you can win it out, but or finish it out. But it's feasible. Honestly, Will, I mean, this season lays out pretty well as far as travel goes. There's only one really far tournament, which is St. Lawrence River. This is probably the least travel year that we've had in a long time.
This past year was probably one of the worst.
One of the worst by far.
It was 4 trips all the way to the East Coast. It was a long ways.
Yeah, so I mean, I would fish them if I was you personally, but I mean, to me, you're throwing money out the door if you don't. What's up, buddy?
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
You got 2 there?
You want to know where little Todd go?
Little Todd.
It is little Todd.
It is little Todd.
Where's the soccer player?
She's there.
Oh, there she is.
Hey, I saw that big old medal. It was like that big.
Yeah, that was
Congratulations.
a good picture of your mama the other day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Y'all are a lot prettier than today.
Okay. Now, here you go.
What happened to my hand? Alligator bite.
Yeah. Here, go on and do something. You got homework
You
to
should
do.
have said something like you got bit by a big giant snake.
Yeah, you got to get a better story.
I know it's a terrible story. I feel bad.
I reached up in the attic for the Christmas decorations and the big giant snake. Oh, look at that.
Trophy flex. He learned that from his daddy too.
Hey, I'm not the one with trophies behind me.
That's a good point. I'm getting tired of this background on me. That's what I'm starting to think. I got to find somewhere else to sit in this house.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna sit right there and flex it all I can. What are you talking about? Let's see. Best rough water story. All of them.
Hey. Well, never mind.
M. Jones, the open schedule is phenomenal this year. I
saw that.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's probably one of the better ones I've seen in a while.
Ooh.
I think Milken is really going to have to put his big baits away. Ask Oliver Nye. That's a very good point. Oliver is a very good big, like giant bait fisherman, and even he learned the hard way on some stuff as far as that goes. I talked to him a few times about it, and he's very knowledgeable in that stuff. And it just doesn't. When you put 225 boats on a lake, like everything changes. From even the smallest to detail. So that's just the reality of that.
So let me. So I grew up. Now I grew up throwing a frog, and this isn't against Frank. Frank's answering something. So because this isn't Frank's talking about how he can't walk it. I just want to clear this up. He's answering a question to someone else saying, "Hey, to help you out." So this might even be a question to Frank, because I bet you me and Frank probably think the same way. I could be wrong about this. I'll ask HALLMAN too. HALLMAN's probably thrown a spook more than anyone else. I doubt he's thrown one more than me in the past 3 months. I promise you, HALLMAN. The sexy dog has lived in my hand. It is insane. But even like the frog, when everyone came up with all these ways to make a frog walk, like, you know how they would cut the tails different sizes. Thanks, buddy. They would cut the tails different sizes and all that stuff. And I was like, am I missing something? Because I always thought, and that was back when I was throwing spro frogs. It didn't matter. I'm like, I've never had a problem walking something. And everyone's like, hey, you can walk that bait better. And I'm going, I don't know how else to say it without sounding bad, but like, I ain't never had a problem. I mean, I can walk a spook or a sexy dog like it's going out of town, like the wildest, craziest freaking back. I mean, I've never had an issue. So I've never done anything like Frank's giving good advice to someone that might have a hard time walking a bait, but I guarantee Frank doesn't have a problem walking one. Did you ever like do it?
I tie a loop knot on all mine. I just naturally, and I don't see as much of a help on a walking bait like a spook or sexy dog, but like a popper or something like that.
I might go with that.
But I still do it naturally. It's just one of the, like, if I tie on a top water, I tie a loop knot. And I do not tie to a freaking split ring. I take a split ring off every time. Personally, I hate using a split ring on a topwater bait.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it. Hate it completely. I've always been like that.
HALLMAN?
I go straight braid to the swivel. You know, one of my favorite topwater
swivel or a not a
one
swivel.
of my favorite topwater baits of all time has been that one knocker.
But not a swivel. You mean a split ring?
Split ring, yeah. What I say?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the same way. I don't adjust anything.
Now, the one thing that I've learned, I think I've even put some videos about this, and somebody popped off about it, but there is a difference between throwing it in mono and throwing it on braid. Braid gives it a lot more action. Really,
Yeah. Okay.
Pop the rod.
Okay. I will say that I throw them all on braid.
Yep.
I throw mine a mono leader. I go braid to mono leader, like about that.
I will say I throw a lot more 50-pound than 30-pound.
So I throw 30 more.
The reason I don't throw 30 is I see 30 get hung up in the. I see 30 gets hung up in the hooks.
The hook, the front hook.
And
a lot of that depends on which braid you're using too. If you're using that plasma that Todd and I are using, it doesn't get hung up in it.
Yes, it does. It does for me a little bit. 50 doesn't. 50 and I'm like, well, what am I losing?
It is because I'm just throwing big stuff. I don't know, but I don't get it. Doesn't get hung in my hooks, and I know a lot of guys talk about that mono, and that's why they're using that leaders to keep it out of their hooks, and that braid doesn't seem to bother.
Yeah, I don't do it. I'm just wondering.
I don't know, but I like that. I know we were talking about hooks earlier, and I like that one knocker a lot. I've caught a lot of fish on it, and it's only got 2 hooks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ordinary.
Oh, that was a good video. I remember that.
So yeah, Frank. Yeah.
I always just tie mine on the back. Like I tie it on the very back where the hook's on the front, and then I walk it backwards, and I tend to catch way more of them doing that.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to go have to listen to the Matt Herron interview because there's a lot of people talking about
I know. Yeah, go away. You're in timeout. Look, watch this. He's in timeout.
Okay. Leave him there for a little bit. It's like I do my children.
I
don't even know what he's laughing about. So
because he's over there talking about walking his bait backwards and being
and HALLMAN, which is going along with it. Like,
yeah, HALLMAN's like, yeah, I do that too.
You said you walk one backwards?
I tie it to the back treble and walk it backwards, and you're like,
you didn't hear him say that? That's why I put him in timeout.
No,
HALLMAN was fine with me putting you in timeout. He didn't even care why.
He had no idea.
I just knew he deserved it.
So, did he? Hold on. I think he asked earlier about this.
No,
I think he was.
I'm a big fan of Hydrowave personally. Not many people use it. I might not use it, but I do it a lot. I use it in shallow grass. I use it in 2 situations: shallow grass or smallmouth. Smallmouth are so attracted to sound; it gets them fired up. I mean, that has been the deal with smallmouth forever: smell and sound for smallmouth, and it definitely makes a big difference. When Jason Christie won at St. Clair, I finished 3rd in that event, and both of us were running a Hydrowave on full blast, and I promise you, it made a huge difference.
I'll put it to you this way: I've got tons of stories with the Hydrowave. All I'll say is this: 2009, 10, 2011, Kentucky Lake Toyota Championship, Everstart Championship, whatever it wants to be. That was back when you went 4 days. In the 4th day, you had to use FLW's boat. I had a Hydrowave on. I can't tell you about I should do a whole video on the stories about that whole event. That was the same year. Maybe that was 2009. It was the year that Alabama Rig came out. Like literally everyone in the top 10 was throwing an Alabama Rig except me. And maybe one other guy wasn't throwing it either. But what I'll say is I had to use. I caught 13 pounds a day every single day until the final day when I had to use FLW's boat, and they would not let me put the Hydrowave on. It was the only day I caught 11 pounds, and I caught like 15 to 18 fish a day. And on that day, nothing changed. I caught like 7, And like I said, I can now it's just not from that. I don't want to leave it that I shouldn't have just told a half story. The whole story was like they were schooling around me in shallow water. Like I was throwing at bait balls and none of that happened for me that day. But I mean, the stories that happened, I've got some incredible stories of that tournament of like, there's 2 different times where I went by someone in that event. Like I trolled past them. One guy caught 2 fish all day long, and I watched him catch both of them. And I thought, oh man, they're really catching them. I talked to him later. He said, dude, it was crazy. You passed by me. I caught the only 2 fish of the day. I literally was like 25 yards from him. You know how you just pass someone down the bank, going the opposite direction? Well, I went around him. He caught 2 fish right when I went around him. He said it was only 2 bites he ever had. And another guy from Oklahoma, buddies of ours, Hallman, we were on a school of fish, and I left because I had a limit and went out and came back like 45 minutes later. When I pulled back up, he caught one and I caught one. I was like, God dang, you must have been catching me. He said, I never caught a fish while you left. He said, for 45 minutes, he sat there. He said, as soon as I pulled back up, he caught a fish. So I can't tell you it works. I can just tell you tons and tons and tons of stories like that. So, man, we might need to start calling him Hellman from now on. I like
we get
that.
into this one night. It seemed like after we got off one of these podcasts, we were talking about that stupid fish sounding noisemaker. And next thing I knew, we got off here, and I was headed to my garage to see how many I had in there. And I was like, I need to put that on my boat. We went down this road one night. I swear to God we did.
It makes a difference sometimes.
Am I having a dream about that?
I will say this, though, in relation to the hydrowave, if you're at a live scope event, and everyone needs to take note of this. If you have a live scope and if you have a hydrowave and you're live scoping, it will 100% screw it up. It pulls the fish to you too fast, and you cannot catch them.
Or deep.
Or deep, yeah.
If you're like
it
100%
makes it.
If you're like 60 foot and they're down there at like 40, and you go to drop on them, they'll come up, and
they get really weird, like really, really weird. They just get too aggressive. Like you want them to kind of stay out there and do their little random stuff that they normally do, catch them better.
Hey, I want to talk about this. We were at a high school event, a high school fishing event, like 2 or 3 years ago with Luz and Strike King at Rayburn. This is a big deal because we're at Rayburn, which is Todd Faircloth's hometown, like Jasper, Texas. It's right there. And we're at this high school event, and Faircloth's just walking around, right? Kind of hanging around, and I'm kind of talking to him here and there. Dude, I saw there's 600 high school, 600 or 700, maybe. No, that might have been the one they had a 500 team, so 1,000 kids. Say there was at least 800 kids, high school kids walking around. I saw maybe 3 ask for his autograph. Now, I was just amazed because I'm like, man, if I was some kid and I'm like, oh, Faircloth, it's like, I don't think this isn't a knock on Faircloth. They should have all known who Faircloth was. And I don't think any of them even knew. He's just talking about the younger generation. You know, I doubt it's that way with Larry that much, like those guys, but I'm just saying, like, those high school kids didn't even know who Faircloth was, and Faircloth's not exactly old. But, I mean, he's from there, and I don't think they just walked right past him like they didn't know. I was like, man, y'all might want to be
if that would have been one of the Googans, they'd have known who it was.
They would have known. And I'm like, man, y'all, like, you have an opportunity to go talk to Faircloth. He's not talking to anyone. Go talk to him. You might learn a thing or two. I don't think they cared.
Well, they probably just didn't know because they didn't know. I mean,
listen, I know this from working with Kurt Dove on his high school bass camps. You can have Denny Brower there, and Denny is there at those camps, and those kids will draw him, and they don't care one way or the other if they've got Andrew or Denny. They don't know who he is. These are high school kids, and now the kid's dad might know who Denny is, but the kids don't. They don't know.
Oh my God! Here's a great one. If I see Todd Castledine in public, I'll graph as a tattoo.
Wait, what?
Brett Jolly.
I know Brett. Brett, don't. Brett, I'm so far down the list. God dang it.
Guy, you really are slow. You are old.
Whatever, Brett. I know Brett. Brett's a good dude. Brett's one of these young guys, man. I like. Brett's a young guy that I actually like hanging around. He's about he's pretty freaking sharp. He's funny. Met him at the Classic. Oh, was it the Classic? No, I met. Yeah. Where's the last? No, when a Classic. What was Evers in Dallas? What was in Dallas that year? I don't know. He's a sharp dude.
Classic. You say he's a short dude?
Sharp dude. He's not sharp. He's way funnier than you, Andrew. Way funnier.
That didn't take a whole heck of a lot.
True. But
speaking of funny, I'm gonna just publicly talk about my video that's gonna be coming out tomorrow. I was talking to Todd about it.
What a great soft plug. Let's hear it.
Soft plug.
Is it funny, Andrew?
Dude, it's hilarious. So it's me and Matt at we start out at a lake, a small lake in New York.
Man.
And
Panger?
Yeah, Panger. And we literally drive around the lake for 30 minutes trying to find the boat ramp. And the whole time I'm telling Panger, I was like, the boat ramp's over there. Let's go to that. There's a gate. He said, it's a gate. We can't get through the gate. And he's like all fired up about it. And we drive around and we finally go to the gate. And I'm like, he's like, oh, there's a pay box here to open the gate. And I'm like, you idiot. What are you doing? And the whole video is me just ragging on him. I mean, it's so bad. But it's just, I really hope y'all go watch it. It's probably one of the funniest videos, and it'll get like 1,000 views. I was telling telling Todd earlier, I was like, some of our very best videos that we do get the least amount of views of any videos that we have. Yeah. But that one is probably one of the funniest videos I've ever had.
Hey, can we do this?
Can we get a video with the old?
Well, you're running this thing. All you got to do is send him a text right now with the link and tell him to get on here. He'll get on here.
He probably would.
Would he?
Yeah.
Billy would probably
do from his phone, dude. Just send him a text with the link on it. He'll get on here.
One of y'all send him. One of y'all. Hold on.
I don't know. This is your deal.
I'll do it. I got it. I'll send him a freaking.
I can't send him the link. You have to send
I'll send him the link. See if he'll do it, and then tell him to text me. I'll ask whoever. You want me to ask Billy or Scott?
You do Scott, and I'll work on Billy.
You want me to text Scott?
No, you text Scott, Andrew, and then forward me his email. I think I got his email, but
I think I can turn it into a text message. I think.
Yeah, whatever. And that way if all of us are on the phone, see, it looks pretty boring with y'all two with y'all's heads down, not talking. I'll carry the show.
This is my pinky, by the way.
Hey, that reminds so that guy whatchamacallit earlier said it reminds me of Spock. It reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where he gets out of the car. They're at the gas station, and the guy has he's got two casts, and they're both on his middle finger, and he's doing this like this, and it looks like he's flicking everyone off, but same deal, had a broke hand.
Now, Billy may very well be in bed because it's 9 o'clock there in South Carolina, and that son goes to bed early.
Yeah, I text Scott 3 text messages. HALLMAN, did you send him a link?
I can send it to Scott.
Yeah, send it to Scott. I told him. Oh, he is going to get on. Scott's going to get on. So
I told you to send it to him.
Yeah.
Well, I said I wanted y'all to do it while I'm holding down the fort.
I mean, I thought it was really funny. I read a comment earlier said that Todd rarely shares his opinion or something like that. Or I was like, what? Todd's become more opinionated. No, Todd has always been opinionated.
I've always been opinionated. Frank, I'm working here. They want me to. I'm working. I'm trying.
All right. So watching the deal, make sure you let somebody in if they come in the room, Todd.
Yeah, watch it, Todd.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, where were we?
Oh, I'm gonna answer this. Horrible. Okay, we can move on from that one.
Let's see.
Golly, y'all, I can read everything.
Hey, Billy got a bass is a good idea for a replacement for me on that pick'em.
That would be pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. That's
dude,
really
he'll
good.
probably beat me though.
Well, yeah.
He would love something like that.
No doubt.
That's a good one. I can't.
That's funny. Block it and Trump. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I'll put that on there.
Block it and Trump. Let's go.
I don't really. You do realize that those are like two conflicting,
Complete opposites.
complete opposites, like totally opposite spectrum right there. I'm telling you,
Scott might be like. I really hope Scott's not laying in bed right now. I doubt he is. It's 9 o'clock. There
he is.
I don't even have clothes on, dude.
I'm so glad you have clothes on.
Clothes on. I do have on. I sleep
Hey,
next.
old man, why is your eye so close to the phone?
Hey, because he's never held a video before, or like
Is this how y'all do?
Do what?
Is this how you do live? Is this how you?
Yeah,
do
that's it. Yeah.
He doesn't have McCoy there working it.
What's up?
What's up?
What y'all doing? What have I got myself into?
Oh,
You want to know?
get ready for the questions, Scott.
We were talking about you earlier. We were talking about your posts on boats, and like I was going off on that. I almost got on your Instagram today and got ugly with some of those people.
Oh, about people trying me that I should just give them away?
Yeah, just give them away. Just give them away. They're all free. Everything in life's free.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, dude, did your daddy never tell you that nothing is free? Like, damn.
Free. Well, yeah, I mean, if you can get Skeeter to like give it to me for free, then maybe we can work something out. But I got to try to send that bill off. That's for sure.
I got a good one. Which one do you want to? This is great, Scott. Which one do you want to answer? Do you want to ask your opinions on live scope, or why every fish you catch is a 10-pounder?
Why I say big one every time?
Yeah.
Like seriously, I honestly revert every time I hook a fish. When I first pulls back, I somehow, dude, I think it's a giant, bro. Every time, I physically and mentally challenge myself every time I fish to like not say it, and it still just comes out, dude. It just comes out like I get tricked all the time. I do.
You're like, well, see, if you had it the opposite way, you'd be going against Rick Clunn, because when Rick Clunn's not catching them, remember he made a video one time where he was like saying that like fish can feel through your body, like through your mental, through the rod and the line and everything, that like if you're in a bad mood and not there, that fish won't bite your that.
There is a weird. I'm not into some weird religion or anything, but there is some truth to that in some way. Like there's like some energy that that gets transported into the water somehow. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just stay excited, and I just think that everything's a 10-pounder, and but yeah, it's bad. But what's funny is when people watch the videos and they see me saying biggin, biggin, biggin. Do you realize how many times we cut that out of
A lot. The fact that Scott has a massive cutout of him, that's an interesting flex. I really wish I had a cutout in my background.
Me and Hillary.
That's so good. I love it.
She's holding giant smallmouth.
The only guy that I know that's got more stuff around his house, pictures of himself, is Watson. James Watson is a great self-promoter. He has pictures of himself all over the house. Dude, you walk in his bathroom and there's this big picture of him holding up a trophy.
Yeah, see, I got this one. Is there a way to switch the camera? Probably not. So I have this one too. This one's been on my wall for a while.
Hey, Scott, try relaying it sideways. Oh, my God.
You want it this way?
Yes.
Yes.
Big improvement. Yeah. Huge.
Yeah, look,
Even you should know that.
Look at that. Evan Rude.
got Evan Reed on it. That's back in
Yeah.
I was going to ask, is your mustache and goatee still that black, or has it got more gray in it now?
a lot more gray, my friend. A lot
Dude,
more.
This guy's right.
I started looking at videos 3 years ago when we started the Opens, and like looking at it now, and I'm like, yeah, that's what 3 years of the Opens did to me. Holy cow. It's
Dude,
like Santa Claus.
Shakes, man. I still got the shakes. I'm serious. Scarred. I mean, dude, I feel bad for Andrew. I feel bad for Castledine. You guys, I mean, you're gonna make it eventually. I know you are. That's just crazy, dude.
What?
And I felt
What?
so Andrew this year. Like I got to talk to him at like every tournament, and he was feeling good about things, and it sounded right. Everything was good, and then it was just like bad
until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's all good. Hey,
Read that one. Read that one, Scott.
What is that?
What's it say? That
hat's about to blow a power head.
That's pretty good.
That's funny.
Not your hat now.
Yeah,
the other one.
The Everett. I got it. That's
Hey,
funny.
Scott, I was actually thinking about what you could do. You made the classic this year, right?
Yes.
You're in the classic.
Yeah.
If you want to win the classic, I feel like I've got your solution.
Okay.
Did he freeze up? Look,
No.
he froze.
I got.
Andrew froze.
Andrew froze.
He's on that hemp hill Wi-Fi. That hemp hill Wi-Fi.
If you want to win the classic, Scott, you got to bring back the visor, no doubt.
I didn't freeze. I was just messing with y'all. I was just making.
That's a douche,
dude. I thought it was Rubanus too. You looked a little bit like Rubanus in that picture.
In which one?
The
one.
The old visor. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That's funny. So to bring back the visor, I could maybe. I mean, my hair is starting to recede pretty far, dude. Like a visor would only go to here now.
You have to bring the visor back.
I'd have a sunburn. I'd have like a sunburn right here.
Where's McCoy tonight? Where's McCoy tonight?
He is in. They're heading off hunting. They're going to South Dakota.
Hey, I don't care if this is a bass channel. Talk to me about the redfish deal.
Yeah,
that was. I've caught a lot of redfish over the years. I fish for them a lot, but that tournament thing, I kind of get it a lot more now. But it's still weird because you're targeting a slot of fish, and so I don't know. Like my brain, it's hard to have your brain think like, okay, I don't want to catch a big fish. I want to catch a 27.5-inch fish. It's strange to think that. So that was weird. And then 2 fish limit was a little different too. So but at the same time, I did it for 3 days straight, in the tournament, and then a couple days of practice. And, it was fun, dude. It really was fun. It was like any other tournament. I mean, those fish react to lures like bass do, but, to try to target those fish in a certain size, I'm a little lost on that. Like, I don't think that way.
It's a different mentality that they have down there. It's I've gotten to spend a lot more time saltwater fishing in that area and all through the coast this past year. And that mentality, that tournament mentality, is way, way different than going out there and just catching the biggest redfish you can catch.
Yeah. The one thing that was super crazy, and this might allow me to catch a few more bass this upcoming season, is how aware those redfish are in shallow water of noise and trolling motor noise. Like crazy, dude. Like, and I don't know if drum can, or redfish, because it's a drum in the drum family, I don't know if they can pick up senses more or what, but like they're super, super spooky, way more than I ever thought. So I'm going to kind of slow down a little bit next year, like be a little more, just a little more mindful of the noise you make. I think, like, think about this for a second. Here's an interesting thought, Todd. You like to get deep sometimes like this on these kind of things. So we do everything we can as a professional fisherman to just put 10 extra fish in the boat all year, right? Tournament wise. We do all this stuff, making sure we tie the right knots, making sure we got the right line, making sure everything's set up that we can maximize and get 10 extra fish in the boat that are meaningful. Well, how many fish are we spooking, making noise, walking around in the boat, putting trolling motors down in the water, trolling motor too fast, banging into a stump, hitting grass with the prop more than maybe we should, like being like, will that all of a sudden produce so many extra bites that then equal making the classic or winning of the year or winning a tournament? You know what I mean? Because those redfish, dude, were tripping out 100 yards away at the lightest noise, like stuff that, like, put the trolling motor on 2 and they freak out.
So wouldn't we all agree? And I don't want to dive too deep into this, but wouldn't we all agree we've seen live scope that like if you're on a fish from far or whatever, we've seen fish react to our boats or bait or like
Today,
bait scaring fish. All kind like we've all seen live scope. Besides the fish catching part, just the seeing fish in their own environment from far away and stuff we do affect them. So I'm with you.
Today, and we got like a jig and like a 1/4 ounce split shot above it because like the wind's blowing 100 mile an hour. And these fish are like 14, 15 foot deep. The boat's like right next to them. I mean, I've got them within 20 foot of the boat. When you drop, and I'm not casting, I've got a 15-foot long rod, and you just drop, and if you let that little split shot hit the surface of the water too fast, the second it hits the water, that crappie goes, it takes off.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
that's what I observed. Like that was, to me, it was eye opening.
Here, okay. So here's one, Scott. This is the crazy part, right? We've all been bass fishing and seen a bass out there, and like we know that if we throw to that bass a lot of times, like it'll hit the water and they freak out and take off, right? But then there's times where you ever done it where like you threw up there and you're expecting it to take off and like it hits the water, say it's like a frog or a topwater a lot of times, it hits the water and you try not to throw on it, right? Try to throw like 5 or 6 foot away, 10 foot away, and it'll hit the water. And before you can even engage the reel, there's a blow up and you're like, oh, that was the same fish I was throwing at. Like you couldn't even, like it's amazing how one fish will be scared of the bait hitting the water and the other one hears it and goes so fast and explodes on it, you can't even engage the reel. So it's pretty weird.
Got to be what mindset they're in. Like if they're in feed hunt mode, hungry, whatever. Yeah, it's So the red fishing was cool. I'm going to try to go back down there. I like that little area though. That whole area right there at Port Aransas was pretty nice actually.
Yeah, that's a fun area. If you ask HALLMAN where he wants to retire,
Scott knows. I've told him that's where I've been telling you I want to go. That's where I want to get a house. Is there?
Nice. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of nice new homes there. That was actually
the water pretty clear when you guys were there in the bay? Was the bay pretty clear at certain times when the tide would come out?
Yeah. Dude, in practice it blew 30 miles an hour 2 days. I mean, it was pretty crappy weather. I mean, we had a hard time getting it right, you know.
Yeah.
That's an easy one, Todd. That's me.
Can you read that, Scott?
Dude, my eyesight's gotten so bad.
Which of you four have the hardest hook set?
Is it getting bad, dude? Seriously? You remember when I sent you a text and you sent me to the eye doctor the next morning? I was like, oh my God.
I know I gotta go to the eye doctor, man. No, what it is like if I don't look at my phone at all, right? If I go
good.
Yeah. So like tournament when I'm in tournament mode, like in the mornings, I do not look at my phone in the mornings because it's like if I go to bed not looking at my phone and wake up not looking at my phone, I have perfect eyesight. But if I'm on my phone first thing in the morning or late at night, and then my eyes get all whacked out, dude, and I can't see anything.
Yeah.
But which one of you four have the hardest hook sets? It has to be Castledine, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of that.
Yeah.
You got to get them roids in there a little bit. Todd's hook sets.
Dude, it's just all that frog fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
All them roids you take before you work out 5 times.
I'm too skinny. I'm too skinny to have.
Todd works out more than any human I know.
I've been working out crazy, dude. I'm down over 20 pounds.
Wow.
Doing CrossFit for like almost 2 months now, every day. Like literally every day, sometimes twice a day. And when I say CrossFit, like I do legit CrossFit, but then I also do, weight training and stuff too. If I do 2 workouts in a day, I'll do some pretty heavy.
That me and Scott used to talk about this all the time. You remember when me and Scott did planks in the living room?
Yeah.
That's what I was just laughing at.
And then I was saying, and I'm like, so me and Scott challenged each other in planks, and then I saw Andrew and Scott run in freaking waders in the rain down the street.
Terrible idea.
Like it was good times.
That was great. That was because Andrew was talking all that trash, talking about how he used to slam dunk 10-foot goals and throw hard passes and stuff.
Listen, Scott.
Like, dude, I can beat you running. And he's like, oh, no, you can't. And then we're out there running, dude. Yeah.
Listen, I will say this, Scott. I will say this. I'm gonna vouch for Andrew because I've known Andrew for a long time and I've heard stories from other people about Andrew.
Yeah.
But I will say there is no way his kid can be that fast and Andrew not be fast.
I know.
Because his kid is like my kids are fast too.
Y'all. I know that for a fact.
My kids are fast too, but like Andrew's got some pretty phenomenal videos of Kane running through the football, like running through the defense, and it's like it
looked like ESPN play of the week is what it looked like when I.
It looks like Kane's running against some kindergartners, and he's in like middle school.
Yeah.
It doesn't look fair.
Yeah, that's great. Now I love watching the videos of Kane, dude. He's killing it in the football stuff.
Kane actually went and raced his mama the other day, and it's getting to be a pretty tight race. His mama was a sprinter in school as well.
I retract what I say. Maybe it's all from her.
I mean, I can still beat her, but you know, every once in a while we'll have a couple too many cocktails and we'll decide we're going to race each other, which is a terrible idea because we all feel like we have a pulled hamstring afterwards.
Who, you and your wife?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My wife had obviously she played college ball, volleyball, but she said she had a double scholarship for track too. So I remember running against her one time and I was like, it's one of those times where like you start running and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to actually beat her. I kind of felt like that one time. Hey, so I know you and Andrew went to the Amazon and me and Hallman couldn't because I think I had a tournament.
Yeah.
Man, are y'all ever thinking about doing that? Because I might self-invite myself back again. Like
the only way I would do it again if we all four went and we did not take cameras for TV.
Man, I don't know about all that.
Dude,
I knew that was coming.
It is so much work.
No,
is it really?
It was so much work.
No, Andrew just stresses himself out. You've seen how he does it all the time. He's stressing out.
Dude, I was just watching a video from that the other day that I honestly hadn't seen, and I don't know how I hadn't seen it, but I think it was something Scott's guys had put up. But it was the God of all people casting, and he smacks Billy with the side of the face with that bait. It is wonderful.
That was great. That was on my chesty.
That was a great shot.
Yeah,
Billy got hooked like 3 times, and that was the best part of the.
I would have thrown that guy in the lake.
Yeah, no, Billy didn't feel it. Trust me. So Billy doesn't drink a lot, and we stopped and bought stuff for the boat just so we could have some evening cocktails, and we had a giant bottle of Fireball, and I don't drink Fireball. Nobody really drinks, but somehow it ended up in Billy's boat, and that was the day that we decided that we're gonna go, like exploring through the jungle with machetes, right? Literally chopping trees down for hours. And Billy sat in the boat. Like, I don't know if you ever watched his Instagram or wherever that video of him is, and his voice changed and he went into some altered character, but he was fireballed up to another level, dude. And it was hilarious. And that's about when he got hit. He didn't feel that jig in his head. Trust me.
No, because see, the deal was, so the backstory on that whole day, I was in the boat with Billy that whole day. And it started raining, and like not just like kind of raining, like hard rain, and it got cold, and all of us got cold because none of us brought our rain gear. And so we all take a couple drinks of Fireball, and we take, we're having a few cervezas.
Life, literally, that was how cold it was in the Amazon.
Yeah. And so Billy turns it up, and he was just done with that day. But he wasn't gonna, gripe and just quit. He was like, screw it, let's go. And dude, and that was after we'd already had all the Fireball, all the beer, everything. And so it got Billy didn't even have a rod in his hand. He was just done fishing. He just was just sitting there watching. It was great. I would love for us all to go back or go do something together, some big trip together. That'd be awesome.
Outfits to go with down there, and I'm rigging up like my tripod here because y'all are making me jealous not having to hold your phone. All right,
I'm on the
which one of y'all has the worst temper?
Look at that. So, but yeah, there's some great.
Me. Definitely not Scott. Definitely not. Well, Andrew's pretty good. It's definitely between me and Andrew. It's not Todd and Scott.
Yeah. I
Worst-
don't know, Scott. Scott's really mellow until he's not.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm mellow until I'm not. That's
I don't
trying to
remember
think-
being upset at all. Like,
Oh, I've seen
No,
Scott
there was
mad.
one. There was one. I don't know.
I remember one.
I remember when Andrew got mad and left.
Yeah, I
No.
remember that. But I'm trying
No.
to think of
He
Scott.
cut
I
the
don't,
ball out and walked out the door.
that needs to be talked about for a second.
That was the greatest moment ever.
are we talking about the haunted house?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So well, that's all I add to this, obviously, here's the best part of this story. The best part of this story is that we all were at this big giant house that we rented in Texas with this like 1980 drug lord house, haunted house thing, with like 17 bedrooms in it, and it had that creepy haunted feel, and so it was all of us, including the camera guys, and we all were playing haunted house jokes on everyone independently without telling each other we were doing it. So I was playing haunted jokes on HALLMAN and Andrew, and Andrew's playing them on Castledine, and Castleine's playing them on HALLMAN, but we none of us spoke words that we were doing that, and it finally got to a point that we all started kind of halfway believing there's something really happening in this house.
Give them examples of like what we
Well,
were doing.
no, I want to bring this up.
I started it.
Andrew is on the lake and he texts me. He's like, "What do you think about this, Todd?" And I'm like, "That's pretty funny." Andrew had gotten on there and done this like
Photoshop.
Yeah, he photoshopped this deal about how someone had died in this house and it was haunted, and he did all this. He's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "Yeah, send it," because like I'm just gonna throw this out there. I believe zero in any of this stuff, right? So like I didn't care one bit about it. I knew, but like there was one. I pulled off one prank. I pulled off one deal where they had all locked the house. And I had found this like back door. It had jammed, and I was able to get in, do some stuff, and then close the door. It like someone didn't close the back door. It was locked, but I pushed it. And so I went through it all and then locked the door. Well, then no one could get in. We had to use the key. And I'm like, "Dude, I haven't been in. How am I going to get in? Everything's locked." He's like, "You went through the back door." Well, they went and checked it and it's locked. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I pulled it off." But I will admit, like, I knew Scott had done some stuff, but like, if someone told someone, we were all pretty quiet about it. Like no one ever ratted each other out. I will say that.
I tied a string. Well,
Yeah.
I tied and banged on a door on a window, and then like flipped some chairs over, and then McCoy got scared, and then I tied a string around one of the chairs and yanked the fishing line from the upstairs, and the chair flew across the kitchen. But the line broke, so they didn't know what happened. And then Andrew finally, I don't know what we did with Andrew. I think
I went into HALLMAN or Andrew's room and I opened up every drawer to the same level. The door and everything was open. Everything was open everything was to the exact same level. That's what I had done, and then just walked out. So nothing was moved. It was all just weirdly. It looked creepy in there.
Yeah.
The string, I was there for the string. The string was good because it broke. It did break, and I'm like, dude. And when I saw it broke, and you had it all, I just led into it, and I was like, they were like, "Well, he had to have done something." I'm like, "What? There's nothing here," and I was like, "There's nothing that he could have done. He's not even in the room."
Yeah. I think that's when Andrew grabbed his bag and he goes, "I'm out of here." He was going to his truck. He said, I can't do it anymore. This place, y'all are buttholes. This place is haunted. I'm out of here.
He left for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
I left for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I was over it. Massively over it.
He was massively over it. He's the one that photoshopped and started the whole thing.
Yeah.
I know. That was my fault.
That's
Actually, the one that got me the worst, truly, because I was the last one out of the house. That was the one day that all the chairs were flipped over.
Yeah.
I was the last one out of the house, and I walked back in the house. I was the last one, and I walked back in the house, and all the chairs were flipped over, and I'm like, I know I was the last one out of the house.
Yeah.
And I literally
Y'all-
walked back
y'all
in
remember-
like 2 minutes later, and they were all flipped. I was like, all right, F this, man. This is
Yep.
like, screw this.
Billy had a bed, like a mattress or a Harriet mattress or something, but Billy was in the living room. That's where he started the week. And when this started going on, Billy moved his bed into the bedroom with McCoy and Andrew. And he was like in their floor, their little bitty bedroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, Billy, why'd you move your stuff? And he's like, man, I don't believe in that kind of stuff, but I heard the dryer running last night. And like it was in the middle of the night. It was like a coin. You could hear a coin flipping in it. And I woke up and I walked in there and there wasn't anything and the dryer wasn't on. And I went back and I laid down in bed and I could hear it again. So I moved my stuff in there with him.
Oh, that was
Dude,
good.
remember Scott? They had that old school intercom, so you could push a button and talk to anyone in the house. So they were like, Billy wakes up singing. Billy would wake up every morning in that intercom and sing to everyone, like as loud as he possibly could.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah,
Ariana
it was so good.
Oh my god!
And Pete's saying that I have the temper. I mean, I have a temper, yes, but no more than HALLMAN.
I've seen HALLMAN's once or twice.
Yeah.
Dude, there was a great question on there. I liked it. That's it right there.
Well, this is an easy one.
Scott
There's
was the
three of
worst.
us on this that are really good
Scott.
at being bad at this.
Scott
Andrew,
is
you're
terrible.
no freaking,
Really?
Dude, I'm great at waking up.
Andrew,
It's not even. This is. I can tell you ranking, and I know where I sit on this ranking, and it's not even close.
I know where you sit. I don't know where anybody else is.
I'm number one. I wake up
No
easier
doubt.
than anyone.
Yeah.
Easily.
Well, you're not number one. You're the last. Number one would be the worst to wake up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm last. I wake up the easiest.
I'm like third to last.
I've never used an alarm in like 10 years.
I'm terrible. I hate getting up.
No, HALLMAN hates getting up.
Yeah, I
Scott
think
doesn't like getting up either.
Dude, Scott's just like me. He can lay in bed too. Like we've all laid in that house and it's been daylight and I'm thinking I'm going to get up whenever they get up to go practice. And then y'all don't get up.
I've seen HALLMAN go to bed at 8 and then wake up at 9. And I'm going, dude, if I slept that much in one day, that would be my week. That would be I wouldn't go to sleep for 3 days if I did that.
So someone needs to ask the question: Who's the last one to bed? We know that answer, don't we? Who's the last one to bed?
Me?
Todd?
Me?
God,
Yeah.
How? I'm always outside at midnight tinkering with tackle still.
Are you
Man.
kidding me? You're the one that comes in and falls asleep on the couch. You're the first
Yeah.
to sleep every night. You fall
Dude, I'm the
asleep
last
all
one
the
up.
time.
I'm the last one to go to bed and the first one up.
I do sleep in my bibs a lot.
You sleep wherever you sit down
dude,
when you come in.
he would eat dinner and then he'd be like, "Ah."
Yeah, you would, dude. I never did that.
Yeah, dude, we'll be in a conversation like this and Scott will go.
Yeah. Dude, I'm a 4 hour, like during tournaments, I'm a 4 or 5 hour sleep guy.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I might fall asleep after dinner, but then I'm out there in my boat tinkering till midnight.
That's true. Like I don't do any tinkering.
If we wake you up.
Yeah, half the time you wouldn't wake me up, and I'd wake up at 3 a.m. on the couch.
No doubt. Like just fall over like
Oh.
this.
Yeah.
Who's a messy worst housemate?
Me, probably.
Andrew,
You
the
think?
four of us. Yeah, the four
Yeah.
of us. We're all pretty clean though.
Yeah, I would say that we're pretty good.
Yeah,
Whoever-
so it's not really fair to call him that, but he is the four of
But
us.
I help pick up and I'll help clean. I'm at the house this year. I was the one that stayed with HALLMAN every time, just about to help him clean up.
Yep.
So
I'd say Todd's the best griller.
Oh, I was gonna say you.
both of y'all are good. I just don't cook when I'm
Scott's
with y'all.
good too.
Scott's really good. Scott, man, I loved when Scott brought his it was a Traeger, right?
Trigger.
That was really dude, we ate really, really good on the road.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah.
Like it was like a 4 or 5 course meal almost every night.
Scott's like one of the few guys that I've stayed with that like once he's like, if I'm at the grocery store, he's like, get a salmon, get a big salmon. Let's eat some fish.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants to eat like good. You know, a lot of guys are like, I ain't
Dude,
eating
y'all,
fish.
I'm not a sushi guy. Y'all ate sushi like crazy.
Love
Good
sushi.
stuff, man.
You know why? You know why I like sushi? Well, I like it's just good, but I wake up, I feel better the next day. I don't have any sugar, like sugar spikes. I don't have any of course it's not greasy. Like I don't have any stomach issues. Everything's pretty normal. I fish better.
Who has the most Karen moments out of these four? Probably me.
Yeah.
I can own it. But if Panger was in this room, Panger would be the Karen, 100%.
So I want to ask some questions. Like, Scott's the most tinkering guy. Like, I'll give you that, Scott. You're out in your boat. Like me and HALLMAN, we don't look at our boat when we pull in and hook. We pull in, back our boat in, plug it in. We never see our boat all of practice. Like at night, we'll never look at our boat. And y'all will. Y'all will be out there with lights on and getting stuff. And me and HALLMAN maybe we're cooking, but y'all love to do that. Like I do it on the night before.
My dad's the same way. He's 82. He's 82, and he stays up and tinkers still today, like just around his house in his boat. Like
this is a great. Chris Flay just did the best question ever. Who's the biggest tackle warehouse order at events?
God, he's ordering for the minute. I bet he gets 6 orders in.
Oh, I was gonna say 5. He orders every single night.
Yeah, probably twice a day.
I do order a lot. I order too much.
I don't even know where it all goes.
He always throws it out of the kitchen table. And he's like, "If there's anything in there y'all want, get it."
I do. I'm always buying what. Man, it's crazy.
He'll tie on, and you'll tie on 7 of these baits that you never caught a fish on in practice, and you're coming in. Well, I caught one on that today, and I caught one on that today, and I'm like, what? All right.
It's bad.
Hey, HALLMAN, what'd you do? I went through a spinnerbait all day and caught 12 pounds. I mean, Scott's like, well, I had 19 rods. I caught fish on 12 of them, and HALLMAN's looking at him like, I had 1 rod out all day long.
You know what those happen though. I have to say this. So I've definitely spent too much money on tackle over the years, and so I'll own that. But what I've noticed is, like, I've ordered stuff for, like, let's say that I order stuff at a tournament right now, and that might not make a difference in this tournament, but it's like a year later, I'm in another tournament, and I end up almost, I do real well in a tournament or almost win a tournament on those baits. Yeah, I've done that a bunch. So it's like when I'm buying stuff, I'm hoping that I catch them on it, but a lot of times I'm like, I'm gonna catch them on that one day, and I just, it's like I'm prepared. It's like so many things in my box that I have bought that I finally catch them on.
Hey, there's a good question from James Davis up there.
I did see that. I wanted to,
because we got 2 classic qualifier or elite qualifiers.
What is the best advice?
Well, Andrew, we've all on Angler of the Year. I've done really good on the Toyotas. Scott's won Angler of the Year. HALLMAN we've all been really consistent over the years.
I'm the worst at it. I said, I'm the worst at it.
Okay, well, Scott, you're like me. Okay, so I've got 4 AOYs in the Toyotas, right? And how many tour? I'm gonna go back to the tour because you've only been on the elites for a small amount of time. But how many cups did you qualify?
All but 1, like 20. 20.
Okay, so that's being as consistent as you can ask for. What's the best advice?
All right,
you have.
For me, I think I'm the odd one in this philosophy a little bit, but it's hard to put in words. It's more of a mindset. I don't count points. Okay, I just don't count points. That's number 1. Okay, number 2 is, as I'm not counting points, meaning I don't fish too conservative. I fish smart, right? I'm not going to make a dumb decision. I think through and evaluate my decision nonstop throughout every day and even throughout the night before the tournament. Sometimes I've even changed my whole game plan, but I'm not counting points. Number 1, and number 2, I'm not afraid to take chances. but I'm not afraid to take chances, but I'm evaluating my decision 24 hours a day. So when I'm practicing, what I've found myself doing over the years is day one of practice, when it's over, I say to myself, if the tournament starts tomorrow, what's my game plan? So I evaluate exactly where I'm at that moment. And I say, okay, I would start here, and then I would move over to here, and I would do this, A, B, C, D, what thing. And then day two practice rolls. And then throughout the day, as I'm finding stuff that I think's better, I'm replacing my game plan. Even while I'm fishing, I'm evaluating, okay, this now might be my starting spot from yesterday, which I thought was really good. This might be better, but I'm keeping it honest. I'm evaluating it throughout the day based on every factor that I can come up with. And I do that throughout practice. So then at least by the end of practice, I've got somewhat of a game plan that has been challenged in my mind for 3 days. And I still may change it before blast off the first day of the tournament. But that's how I fish. I try to, play devil's advocate with myself. I challenge my decision, and I go with it that way. I'm not thinking about points. I'm not thinking I need to finish here. I've never known how many places I need to fish in a tournament to make up points. I don't know. I've never factored that calculation in my life. People have told me, like, hey, you need to come in 12th and you'll move up 5. I don't know any of that, and I don't really ever think about it. I just fish. And so when I did the opens, obviously I had to count points, which sucked. And it was stressful. The first year of the elites, which was last year, I counted points to a point, way more than I should have. And, all the way until I barely made the classic. I got in because a couple of people won some opens. But like this last year, I said, I'm not, this last past year, I didn't count points one time. I just went fishing. I had fun. I evaluated my game plan every day. I just went out there and did my thing. And I lost some key fish that would have put me way higher in the points than I finished, but I had a good year. I feel good about the year, even though on paper it was mediocre points wise, but I know, you know what I'm saying. We all know how we fish.
Well, so this guy goes, go for the win and the points will come. I've always talked about when I started fishing Rayburn, all I did was go out there and try to catch fish because I was so new to Rayburn, right? And so I was just trying to catch fish. So it looked like I was going for a check, and I started making a lot of checks. Now they were right inside the checks, right? So it would be 300 boat field and I'd finish 30th, right? Which would be, they might've paid 50, right?
Yeah.
And I did that for so long until one day I looked up and I'm like, man, I'm not catching any of these giants. Like these guys are winning 9-pounders and I'm not. So I eventually started trying to figure out how to catch 9-pounders, and I did, and I started fishing that way. Yeah. And I won more tournaments. I mean, I started winning, but I started doing like I would not cash any checks, and then I'd win one.
Right.
But what I always tell everyone, so what you were saying is I relate to a lot what you're saying, but you grew up in Florida, and I'm gonna make this a point. When you grow up in Florida on Okeechobee, you're not out there throwing a Ned rig. I know you didn't have Ned rigs, but you're not out there fishing for like 2-pounders because you're never going to win. And I grew up fishing lakes where I wanted to go win. And so what I did was I ended up throwing baits that caught big ones. Like that was my style.
Yeah.
And that style sometimes though, right? It took me years to get really good at the style to be consistent. And what happened was I kept on going for big fish in tournaments. And then over the years, I got better at just catching fish and big fish.
Yeah.
And so as I got better, when we go to these tournaments, everyone's like, I'll talk to guys and they're like, man, and I can go catch 30 in that crate, but I can only catch I catch like 3 or 4 keepers. And I'm like, well, man, it's been 4 days. Like I remember on Gunnersville, someone asked me, I'm like, it's been like 3 days on Gunnersville, and I've caught like 2 non-keepers since I've caught 60 fish in 3 days, and 2 of them have been non-keepers. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I don't catch non-keepers because of the style of the way I fish. And if you fish that style not going for the win, but going for a way that always catches better fish, you get good at that style. And so when they say, would you rather, all the angler of the years I've won in the Toyotas and stuff, I always have a lot of top 10s in there because I was going for the win, but the points came. And he said, go for the win and the points will come. Well, yeah, we always make fun of the comment of going, I'm gonna swing for the fence.
There's
And I hear a lot of guys say that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what does swing for the fence mean? You fish a certain way and you don't catch them. So now you're going to go throw a 10-inch swim bait all day long to try to catch them. No, that tells me you're going to go out there and try to zero, because that's not going for the win. That's just giving up almost. And I'm like, going for the win.
Excuse.
Right?
Just creates an excuse.
Yeah, it just creates an excuse. So if you fish, I've gotten on Matt a little bit about that. I'm like, hey, look, I always just try to go catch normal big fish, and then you get good at that style, and then it translates. And so I rarely ever go for angler of the year. I just look up and you do good in tournaments, and all of a sudden it kind of presents itself to do good, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's a style, though. To me, it's not going for it. It's your style of how you fish.
Yeah.
HALLMAN did something that, if people don't understand, at Rayburn, me and HALLMAN talked about Rayburn, right? And when we talked about it, I said, hey, I got this other way of catching big ones, but man, I don't think it's going to be right for you. Like, I don't trust it. I've done it a long time. I don't even trust it. And I have way more stuff to go do it on. And I would probably just go do what you do. Yeah. And he went and did what he did, and his best could not have won that tournament. He'll tell you, if he'd have done everything perfect in that tournament, he couldn't have won. But that's not saying he didn't try to win. That's just saying he figured out a pattern. It was a good pattern. He finished high in that tournament, but it was him going to do as best as he could on the pattern he established.
Yeah.
And he did it. And not only did he beat me, he did great in the tournament because he consistently caught him for 2 days and qualified for the elites. So to me, it wasn't like he could win the event. He probably knew that, but he caught him as good as he possibly could on his style. And it was very productive, very good. And he qualified for the elites, and won the points. That's, to me, more important than going for the win or going for the points. He just went to his max effort, his ceiling. He hit his ceiling on Rayburn, and he met it. And there's nothing wrong with – what'd you finish, HALLMAN? Like
14th, 16th.
14, something like that. Yeah.
Dude, out of 200 guys, I mean, are you kidding me? That's phenomenal. So, like, to me, that was good.
He did great. I mean, in the opens, that's an amazing thing, dude. You did so great, dude. So proud.
Yeah, it's hard. We all know it is. We've all been involved with it.
Hey, listen, I hate to cut you guys short, but I'm sitting here. My wife just pulled up. My son's here. I've got to jump off. But
who's there? Who is it? Jacob or?
Yeah, Reed, actually. Reed's here.
Oh, Reed. Tell Reed I said what's up.
Well, you can bring him on live and just leave Reed with us, and you go talk to him.
That's exactly what I need to do.
Thanks for coming on with us, Scott. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll do it again. Let's do it again for sure.
All right.
Got the team back together, dude. I like it. Yeah, we'll do it again, and that's cool. So,
hey, if we don't go to Amazon,
we'll go to Amazon.
The keys were pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll do the keys again, easy.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to go. I didn't get to go.
Did you get to go, Andrew?
Yeah, I can go.
Good.
COVID doesn't exist anymore, so we're good.
All right, I'm gonna put that trip together like ASAP.
Dude, I'm down.
All right, guys. I'll see y'all later.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, boys. See you. Bye.
That was awesome.
Look, we got a couple more minutes, but some guys, I'm all the way down at the comments. Some guys asked some really good questions. That one right there. Well, hold on. Do this one first.
I think it's both. I read that question earlier. I mean, it depends how you use your history. If you try to you can't repeat history, but if you use your history to benefit the current conditions, you're better off.
That might be the best answer I've ever heard Andrew on any comment. That's a great. What you just said was perfect. I'm not even gonna.
I was thinking about that one when I read it. I was like, yeah, that's. It's hurt me too many times. I mean, those are two of the busiest people on earth when it comes to fishing.
So there's two people in the industry that impress me more. There's a couple more. I'm gonna throw Hackney in that thing because Hackney might impress me on the water more than anyone, to be honest with you. Kevin might know more than anyone about fishing. I'm just saying. And I will say this about Kevin. Kevin taught more people about fishing than anyone that has ever lived. And what I mean by that is this. It's not that he's washed up. It's just he taught everyone how to do the right, like how to win. Like when he went cranking and when he did, like he had so many different ways to catch them that he eventually taught everyone and he caught everyone up. And what I mean by that is that goes on with everything. Like if you win that much, you teach people how to win. And I just think it's hard to be as dominant as he was and keep it that long. But he is not washed up. He's not. Is he too busy? Dude, he's been busy since day one. And there will be no one in the industry that I'm telling you right now, I've seen it with my own eyes. There was no one in the industry that outworks him. Scott is right there with them.
Yeah.
They work differently, like on different things, but they work hard. But I have been to Strike King. I'll never forget going to Strike King riders conferences, and I was out there late. Me and Phil one night were fishing, and we got in really, really dark. We had they set them up into hourly deals, and me and Phil just skipped a bunch of them, went fishing. We came in at dark, and there's like 25 guys from Strike King there, and everyone's left the boat ramp except Kevin. I mean, this is a riders conference. This isn't even for a tournament, and Kevin's still there doing everything there. And I remembered like 2 days later, I said, I got in line. We all had to go through a line. It's hard to explain, but I beat Kevin there. And everyone was, on purpose. I did it on purpose. And I was like, heck yeah, show him what's up. You know, he ain't going to outwork me. And then he pulls up and skips everyone in line right in front of me. And I look up and he's like, hey, you might have beat me here, but I'm still going first. And I mean, it was just, I know that I just love that he was like, he still got in there before me and took off. And I'm like, the dude is freaking unbelievable.
Let's see. HALLMAN for Rookie of the Year and Angler of the Year. He can't be Rookie of the Year because he's already been on the elites before.
Yeah, you're not a rookie, right?
No, he's not a rookie. Far from a rookie.
Man, I talked to HALLMAN earlier, and I was like, man, my advice to you. Do you remember what I told you?
I don't know which time we're talking about.
We talk a lot, Todd.
Yeah, these guys don't realize how much we all talk on the phone.
I know, I forget. What I told him, I was like, dude, don't worry about the classic. Don't worry about trying to win one.
Yeah.
Don't worry about points. Don't worry about it's your first year. It's going to be, I know how he's going to be more excited this time than he was the first time, I think, because of the road to get there. And I was like, dude, if you just go have fun, I promise you, if you have fun in this year and take it all pretty, when I say lighthearted, that's not like you're not going to go try hard. I'm just saying if you take it all in and just go, I think HALLMAN will have one of his best years ever if he just is like not worried about trying to like do too much. Like points, any of the like. He'll end up winning one when he's carefree about it all. That's
I
that was my
don't worry.
opinion.
I don't worry about Hallman at all because he didn't have to stress about the opens. I mean, he'll have some new stresses and all that stuff, but it's just
Yeah,
he's
but
gonna fish so smoothly. Like it's not even
some of those guys are going to try to do too much, like try to prove too many things. I said, Hallman, I don't think he'll do
I'm
that.
not gonna do that.
I know you won't. And I said, if you go have fun and put all that, I said, dude, he'll kill it.
No, Casey Farmer just posted one. Is it possible for Hallman to just go out and have fun after the past 2 years? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. People don't understand the stress if you hadn't done it. I mean, they see us and they we talk about our beards getting gray and all that stuff, but it's just a different deal. Like, just what it is.
I'm picking Zona.
I'm picking KVD. I just like I want to learn, and people talk about me being the oldest 36-year-old out there, but like I saw a comment earlier saying I'd be the oldest 36-year-old on the Elite Series, but I feel like if you can't go out there and learn, you should be out there. I want to learn.
Zona was one of the most fun guys to ever be on the water with. So maybe it's a loaded question because I've been on the water with Zona. I know me and Kevin had talked about getting on the water and doing some stuff in the future. I'll take it from Phil Marks, who has been in the water with pretty much every single guy that's lived, just about. And he said the only person that's ever really impressed him, like blew his mind, was Kevin. Yeah. He said, "I've never been that impressed with anyone on the water other than that." Like, Kevin was that guy.
Go to MJ's comments. He's put it up there 2 or 3 times. The one at 8:59. So he's kind of put that up there 3 or 4 times. Like Bass just didn't hold up to the rules and didn't cut who they were supposed to cut, and that's why the field's at 104. They were actually going to cut a couple. They were on the cutting block, I think, right to the end, and both those guys got calls at the very end because it was actually in the rules that Bass cannot use the same way they use the legend exemption, doesn't go towards the overall count. Same thing with the medical exemption, and that's what there was. There's a couple of guys coming back from medical exemption, which put those 2 guys out, and it can't be used the same way. So it's a rule.
Who got invited back? I missed that.
Gleason and Klaus
got invited back.
Yes, they were out. They were out, and then neither one of them caught this either. It was, I think, Bass themselves caught the correction, but it can't. That number. So those guys, like they can bring in 2 or 3 legend exemptions each year, and that number doesn't go towards the overall field. And then the same thing with the guys that were out on the handicap, whatever it's called.
Well, it doesn't. I think that's good. I hated to see Gleason get booted out just for the fact that he's a Toledo Bend guy and he's right here next to me. There's a comment: should Bass go to a 300 horsepower limit? I had a very interesting discussion with somebody about. Actually, it was Kevin Short with Bass Cat today. And I was like, well, hell, we might as well go to a 300 horsepower and do all these other things. We let these little tiny boats in there, we might as well let people carry extra gas cans and all kinds of extra stuff. I mean, I don't know why we have rules anyway, but the fact is the reason they limited the horsepower is for safety. Obviously,
you have got one of these days. You have got to talk about the little boat deal. Because you can't just say little boat, because the little boat thing comes off bad sounding.
I know, and part of the reason I say it like that is so it'll come off bad sounding. It's just a mockery of the whole situation. But the more of the point is it's just like the rod limit. I saw a comment not too long ago about it. Bass actually has increased the rod length limit to I think like 10 foot or something like that. And as soon as they made that change, you started seeing rod manufacturers making like 8 and 9 foot flipping sticks and 9 foot cranking rods. And it was a fad. It went away real fast. If you change the boat regulation to, and I'm not hating on Poche, by the way, I just saw that comment. It was a joke towards Poche. I actually told Poche that the other day that, I disagreed with the boat before he won. But if you're not going to limit the length of the rod, you shouldn't, I mean, heck, you should be able to go out there in a 10-foot boat or a 30-foot boat. Hell, I mean, like, why are we even putting limits on it? I mean, we get to go out there with forward-facing sonar that we can see fish swimming around at 120 feet and how they act and everything like that. I mean,
let me the small boat thing. Sour grapes about to open on the river. Look,
they're all pissed off now.
see, this is so.
One comment.
I'm not even going to comment because these guys, like, so here's the deal. Rules are made, okay, because of what people do.
Yeah.
And they figure out how to go against rules.
Yeah.
The reason there are rules and why there have been limitations on things is because of how people go around them. Okay. So our whole deal is I fished out of one of the oldest boats and smallest boats forever because I had to. I didn't use one to get around things and to get an advantage. And there's advantages and there are the advantages that some of y'all, the problem with y'all that talk about this small boat thing, it's because y'all think a certain way. And that's a compliment to y'all. I'm giving you a compliment. Y'all look at bass fishing like we do. We put it in a bubble, and it's very obvious to us what the rules are and how we should abide by them and how to think about the rules. There are other people all over this country fishing all sorts of tournaments that read rules and go, how do I get around that rule? And that's what we're talking about is that most rules, we all look at them and understand what a rule is, and we abide by it. It's black and white to us. We all sit around and talk about how we can become better fishermen, while other guys sit around and go, how do I get around these rules? They look at an info rule. This one. Why do you think there's so many rules on info? They explained that you should not get info. And one of them was that one of the rules was if there is a info on a public, it has to be on a public deal, right? A public forum, a public whatever. So anyone can get that info. So all of us would look at that rule and go, okay, so if it comes out in a magazine or it comes out on Facebook and everyone, no big deal. That's what we all thought. We don't think much about it. But then you have guys going, okay, well, let me think about that for a second. Hey, how about you set up a private account and go put something public for about, 3 minutes. Let me read it and then take it off. That's where people went. They looked at rules and go, how do we get around them to get an advantage and to cheat the system? And so that's the problem. And I'm not talking about the boat thing. I'm just saying it's why they took away from jet drives and anything else like that. Guys in fishing have always tried to figure out a way to get around the rules, and it's legal, but it wasn't really, it's not what they were going after.
Well, here's a perfect example. Okay, we had a guy get on here. He says, guys in $100,000 rig mad about a guy in a $15,000 boat. Okay.
It's Clay. That's what Clay does. Clay does this all the time. Clay
Clay's
on everything. Clay's on every BTL. Clay's always negative Nelly.
Well, the fact is that's not a $15,000 aluminum boat. Just a.
But it doesn't matter. It proves his point. He just wants to prove his point that somebody's mad about.
My whole thing is let's say, for instance, I go out and I run. I'm sponsored by Mamba, which is a saltwater boat, and it has a 250 on, and it has like a 100-gallon gas tank in it. I can run out in Ontario in my 24-foot Mamba from the St. Lawrence River and have way more gas than everybody else. And I can promise you, if I show up in that boat and I make that run and I run all the way out to the islands, there's going to be some real pissed off people. That's a fact.
I haven't said this publicly. So Sean, there's always a difference between using the rules to your advantage and cheating. Okay. And I'm not picking on Sean here. I have zero problem with that comment. So, but I have a question for y'all. I'm finally going to go. I'll say this publicly. If I was on a lake or a river and I went out and dug a hole, okay. And I'm saying this because I've asked this question because I wanted to see what the answer was. If I went out there and dug a hole on the river, anywhere I wanted to, I dug a hole 10 feet down, 20 feet wide. And then I connected that hole with a little bit of water from the river. So there's just a little bit, that much water going into that hole. And that hole fills up. It's random. You would probably never find it. You would probably never think anything about it. It's never been there. And then I went and put 105-pound bass in that hole to where they couldn't get out. And I did this all before the tournament started, before off limits. Okay. So Sunday night, I went and put 50 bass in that thing. Okay. And then in the tournament, I went and threw in that one little hole that no one really knew about because no one would ever think that there would just be some random hole on the side of the river with that much water connecting it. Do you know that I found out that that is perfectly legal? That there is nothing in the rules that stops me from doing that. Now, with that being said, does anyone think that that is right or wrong? If you think that that's right, because I would personally think that everyone in that tournament says, dude, that should not be allowed. I mean, I guess Clay does. So Clay thinks it should be allowed.
Now he thinks you're giving people bad advice because you're giving them ideas. But I mean, Clay's the same guy to tell you.
I'm not giving bad ideas.
The same guy that would tell you that if you want it that way, that you worked your ass off and you outworked everybody else because you went out there and you dug the ditch and you dug the hole and you went and caught the bass out of a lake in another state and brought them across state lines illegally and didn't get caught. So more power to you, man. I mean, you won it. You worked harder than everybody else.
Well, yeah, I don't think that that's. Yeah, I agree with this. Rules and ethics are different, and I just think ethically. What are we talking about? Why is this guy bringing up? No, I'm hiding that.
No, we weren't talking about. We weren't even referencing that. We were talking about another way. I did talk about small boats, but we talked about that a long time ago, or the smaller boat.
I'm not even talking about small boats. I'm talking about rules and how it seems like there's guys out there, and we've all had them. They've all gotten in trouble that they look at rules and they try to go around them. And I just don't think that's. It's like it's why we keep on having more and more rules in tournaments because they're like, okay, well, I didn't think of that stupid scenario. You know.
There's a guy say I'm not good enough to catch 55-pounders to stock. I'm not either. That's a fact. I can't catch that many. And I want to clarify something. What Todd is referencing, he's not saying. And I just want everybody to know this.
Yes,
he's not saying that Poche. He's not saying Poche did. He's not talking about Poche.
Golly, I asked a tournament director if that was legal.
Yeah.
And this is my point. Isn't it illegal to plant fish in the areas? Thank you, Nick. Thank you. That's my point. I asked that. I said, is that illegal? They said no. And I was like, wow. I was surprised at that. So I was just surprised at what you were allowed to do because I wouldn't think about it. That stuff doesn't come in to my head about doing that. Okay. I just that it just shocked me about the way it just surprised me about that was they thought that was okay, that there's not rules against that. I thought, I don't know. And if that's not illegal, then what isn't illegal? I mean, doesn't that seem a little wrong to y'all? If you're allowed to do that? I mean, who said anything about him doing that? I just was like, okay, I was trying to figure out what's illegal and what's not.
Yeah, I mean, that has nothing to do with Poche. I mean, you ask the tournament director what's legal, what's not legal, And you'd be
And I just never
surprised. You'd be surprised what they say. Is
Yeah.
legal.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, so you can do that? I was just shocked. And it's why they
Here's
put
one right now. Here's one right now for the Elite Series, Sabine River. I'm pretty sure this is right. I haven't read the rules, but there's no rule against seeding bass. So you go up to Toledo, catch all the bass you want, bring it down to Sabine, drop them in some backwater 500 miles up the river, and go catch them on Derby Day.
But here's the deal. Here's what I love about this. That what's your off limits on those lakes?
30 days, but it doesn't matter. You just tell all your buddies to go dump all their fish in there too.
True, but so that's why they put that a little bit of what they did in the opens on putting an off limits is to solve a lot of these issues.
Yeah.
There's somebody said they're comparing catch and release fish. Then why can't you go stock spots?
Dude, dude. Me and we are worlds where I hate the off limits deal. Like, I'm sorry.
The release areas.
I hate the release area stuff. I wish they'd make release areas so far off limits. You know,
what ifs are killing the momentum here.
What ifs?
Yeah.
Well, true. What ifs are killing the momentum, but we also didn't bring it up.
I do feel bad. Like, I just want to clarify one thing. Like, my whole boat situation is the fact that, like, we talked about the smaller boat situation way before Poche won at the Red River. Everybody just thinks that they're hearing it now, but we talked about it a long time ago. I have no beef with Poche. He followed the rules. But the point I want to make more so than anything is that we're complaining, sure, about the small boat situation. But I don't see people talking crap and jumping all over all the guys that complained when Ott Defoe was using the jet drive going up the rivers at Douglas and all that. I heard all the anglers complaining about him having an unfair advantage and having the right kind of boat and the low water pickup and all that kind of stuff that he had on that boat. Well, I don't hear anybody demonizing them. But by God, we're hurting the little man talking about Poche's little boat. I mean, it's no different. True.
I've never even commented on the little boat deal ever. I just found it was interesting that Bass made a rule about it. It said, "Hey, if you're going to use a little boat, you have to." It. Yeah, you did. Bass was the one that took the deal on that and made it to where if you're going to use it, you have to use it all year long.
Yeah. That's only in the Elite Series, though, correct?
That's correct. And like
that started with Mark whenever he won the Arkansas River.
Mark
Menendez, like 2009, he brought one over the Arkansas River. Yeah, because we all had to have wrap boats on the Elite Series then. And he had a little aluminum and he went and had it wrapped and he brought it just to that event and won that event by getting in a little hole. And so then everybody was like, well, you know.
See, like Nick. Like
but that's what happens is the guy's got to win a tournament. Generally, like all the rules, right? So like Randy Blockett at one point was putting gas cans back in the creek, you know, on a long run, and he was stashing them in the woods. I think that was the story. I think that's what Randy was doing. He's one of the first ones to do it. And they made that illegal. Maybe it was putting gas cans in his boat, but that was one of them. So, like, you know, it's been the same for 30 years. Guys kind of find a way to get around that and then win a tournament. Didn't Scott like have a jet drive one time in a Forcewood Cup and like jump a dam or something, or like
it was something like that. Yeah.
Well, the Arkansas River, I mean, all those guys, I can tell you the 6 or 7 guys that went and got jet drives to go up to the dam on the Arkansas River, and that one that Biffle won.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, and that's why there was enough people. The Douglas, if you want to really talk about anything, Douglas was the one that really turned everybody off jet drives. And you think we're complaining about a small boat deal? Dude, it was the whole entire field was complaining about when Ott Defoe won those 2 tournaments running up to Douglas.
Really?
Dude, it was so – and I didn't even fish them, but, like, I was getting phone calls about it all the time about the jet drive stuff. And, I mean, people were pissed because he was running, like, so far up there and, like, nobody could even come close. And they were trying to, too. And they're even in smaller aluminum boats, you couldn't do it. You had to have a jet drive. And I mean, and Bass changed the rule almost immediately because there was so much negativity toward, you know, the small boat situation. And the deal is like, Poche can't make it as far as the jet drive does. It's physically impossible because the jet drive could run in like that much water. It was almost like a dang airboat. But Poche's boat that he has is a very special boat. It's not like a bass tracker or something like that. It's a very, very special boat.
It's freaking legit.
It's super legit.
It's legit. I've looked at it. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's like it's a pretty cool freaking boat.
Yeah, no doubt. Like it's
all them guys, man, that have made those boats like that. Because we had who was that guy around from Texas, dude? I mean, the dude could build a boat. It was insane what they were doing with it.
And actually, they said Shyrock complained the loudest. He did. I remember that.
Did he?
Yeah. No, he was pissed. But
see, like all this stuff, this is crazy. Like spring sack, like
I've heard of that.
We've heard it all. And I mean, I guess you can say that's working harder. Man, that seems like a lot of work.
Clay said that the tunnel holes beat the jets all day. I agree with that. I've heard the tunnel holes are just crazy. And actually, I think that was the Defoe deal was the tunnel hole. He was running the tunnel hole.
Hallettsville. Where's Hallettsville? I don't
know what that is.
Yeah. Chris Dilton. That's who I was. Yes. Chris Dilton had a bad 10 boat. Like he was freaking like it was impressive. He had an awesome boat. Thanks, Doug. That's who I was thinking of.
I'd love to tour Poche's boat though, truly. I mean, because I would just love to see how he has it rigged out, because as simple as everybody who tries to make it sound like I just have a trolling motor and a battery and I just go fishing. Dude, I promise you there's a lot of engineering that went into the Poche's boat that makes it really it's special, man. Like I would love to understand the balancing deal, how he does all this stuff.
I know the frame and stuff inside I think is built and welded so that it holds that.
Hey, has any co-angler talked about fishing out of the back of it?
I hadn't heard a single person.
Have you seen the back end of it?
It's like this big.
It is. It is pretty. I guess it's all right.
Isn't Poche at a big disadvantage? The one thing, and I've said it publicly a couple times. The one thing I will give hats off to Poche about is he fished that boat the whole year on the opens.
He did.
And hats off to him.
Oh,
and
yeah, he got his teeth kicked in a couple of them. I know tonight I was talking to him after he'd come back, and he had to go all the way to the other end of the lake to get 5, and he said it was like he's lucky he got any teeth left in his head. He said it was terrible.
Yeah. And that's why I want to clarify, like, it's not a knock on Poche. I don't have a problem with Poche personally. And Poche's boat is extra narrow at the beam. Like that is one thing that makes it so unique. Is it's like freaking this skinny. I mean, it is so skinny.
And I'll tell you one thing. I fished so long out of an older boat for that many years of breaking down and not being able to go. Like it's amazing how long I fished out of an older boat that I couldn't like. They were talking about a place like Big Lakes. That was the thing. Like where we living on Falcon and Amstead and Rayburn and Toledo and all. Like we fished nothing but big lakes. Man, I couldn't go out there and I couldn't have my old boat because I kept on doing horrible in events for years. Because I couldn't make it to my fish. Because back in the day, they did not cancel days. And so they cancel days now all the time. But for years, they never canceled a day. And man, it was the biggest disadvantage for my boat because it was so old and it would break. So, I mean, I would never go back. I love having a boat now that doesn't break and I can get to my fish. I'll take that all day long over being able to get somewhere where no one else can. Yeah. I mean, dude, I just spent a lot of days looking up day one and going, well, I found a bunch of fish and I can't get to them because it's blowing too bad. My boat will break.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they talk about,
if we're allowed to have a live scope, can we bring back the A-rig? Dude, I'm all for the A-rig. Bring it back. I like it. I've always loved that bait.
He's from Oklahoma. He loves it.
That's true. It does work on your lake. On your home. Oklahoma lake.
It's really good right now.
I mean, my point on that whole deal, if you're gonna let live scope or any forward facing sonar exist, you got to let the A rig exist. Because the reason they took the A rig away is because it was a bait that you could lock in your hands and you could win any tournament at any given time.
Should co-anglers be able to have them?
I think anybody. Like, why?
No live scope.
No, I do. I think you, and only from a point of battery power and like not having the space. Like, you're gonna hook one up in the back of Poche's boat. You got to bring a battery and you got to bring the live scope. I mean, it's just like a point of how much stuff are you gonna actually.
I guess
bring.
you'd have to have a bat.
Well,
Yeah.
it's got to happen this year. If it didn't happen this past year,
What?
DFL's open somewhere. Coingler's going to be dropping a.
Oh, yeah.
Coingler's going to be dropping a live scope off the back, one of those
Mhm.
ice jig ones, that's made for ice fishing.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be coming. If it hadn't, I haven't heard a story yet. But there's a Coingler somewhere popping one of those off the back of the boat.
I mean, I just think, I mean, if you're not, you can't just limit one thing and not limit another. Yeah, no, you can build a portable live scope in a cooler, 100%. You drop a battery in it and drill a hole. It's easy. Mount the black box inside the battery or inside the cooler. You can do it very, very easy.
And so you're not allowed to bring. What if you're like, hey, I'll bring that, but not my bag of bait of stuff.
I mean, I don't care personally.
I
But the problem is they're gonna aim it up front and not be paying attention and cast your way. But I mean, because I have that tendency, like I'm like rolling around and like cast behind the boat or something, and not be paying attention.
Well, like coinglers always ask me, they're like, hey, well, so there's some that you can't. There's a limit, but there's other ones that are like, hey, do you care what I bring? I'm like, dude, it's all in your way. You can bring everything you want. You will never. I don't care how much you bring. You can bring.
Did Kyle Hall win the Toyota at Gunnersville on an A-rig?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a blade bait. But I'm assuming he was probably A-rigging more so than blade baiting.
Yeah.
T1D Steve says my live scope has a shuttle, fits a bag, and contains a 36 volt lithium, weighs 28 pounds. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that one.
The pro would say it's interfering. I wonder on that. I mean, if you were running two live scopes and not even just the signal, but like if you aimed it towards the other one, if that would interfere the signal on the front one. I think it would actually, surprisingly.
Goes before hose.
Huh?
Goes before hose.
Yeah.
All right, 2.5 hours, guys.
It's time to go.
Has it been that long?
My kids need to go to bed.
Oh, my wife says it's time to go. I think my kids are still awake.
Oh, my wife, I promise you, is probably watching Yellowstone right now. So.
Okay.
Because you don't talk quietly, so we hear it through closed doors and walls and everything else. And the kids' rooms are right here.
They're all laughing at you.
Yes,
They're
because
on here with us.
talking about.
I'm on her list.
Oh,
all right.
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Todd's talking loud.
No.
And I said, I've got to close my door. My husband is so loud. She's like, I thought that was your TV. I said, no, I'm on the opposite end of the house.
Oh, guys aren't liking it. You're getting.
Hey, I gave them 2.5 hours of your time.
Not them. Getting married, they say it. Get married, they said it. It's fun, they said.
Yeah, and
So-
look what he's doing. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
That's the best line ever.
There's a Coingler here that fished with Poche. Said the boat was pretty good to fish out of the back. Said he drew him at Ross Barnett.
I bet that was a good one for him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to go interrupt my wife's Yellowstone adventure, and I'm going to go to bed.
All right. See y'all.
I'm
See you,
out.
buddy.
All right.
Hey, thank y'all for having me on.
Yep.
Hey, don't forget, anybody that's watching, go watch my video tomorrow. Shameless
Yeah.
plug.
Again.
Appreciate y'all being here.
2 times.
That's it.
See you, buddy.